not working? Oh, did you need No, we gave you batteries.
Stanley Cup playoffs, the Stars a -210 favorite, host the Kraken in game. This is the second Game 7 on the road for Seattle this postseason. The Golden Knights await the winner in the West Final.
It's Wrangler season out there. Open roads, endless horizons. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles made for your next adventure. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year 2 pom-pom people.
Kasey Kuhrts.
Yo! But what are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship.
Get him! Get him! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom!
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Kasey Kuhrts, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Hey, give me some Monday energy. How about it?
Come on, buddy.
We're all back. Hope everybody's doing well. Had a good weekend. We got the fun story of the weekend right now. Olivia Tasley's working on for us.
I like fun stories.
Did you see the Dirt Devil on Twitter?
I did not.
Casey, you
gotta go
saw
look
it. You
this
see
up.
everything.
The tornado thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I did see that with the
I
little
saw
kid
that.
in it.
Yeah.
Was that really here?
Yeah, it was in Fort Caroline.
What?
Isn't it wild how something like that
Just school up.
So like there's
Yo, that's like right by my house, I think.
yeah, probably.
I wasn't home this weekend.
We've seen
What's
that.
the address, Casey?
We've seen one of those before, but not like that. That thing was pretty wild. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a 7U baseball game, and one of these dirt twisters, dirt devils, or whatever you call them, spins up like right in the midst of the catcher.
Right at home plate.
I mean, right at home plate, and it looks like a mini tornado.
Yeah.
Right? And, I mean, it's not like, I don't think it's super dangerous, but there's dirt flying everywhere. And the umpire's a kid. He's actually a baseball player at Sandalwood, and he's been umping for a couple years, and he's getting a lot of love today.
Yeah, because he saved the kid.
Because he went and grabbed the kid and pulled him out of the dirt devil, right? So it's just like kind of a neat piece of video anyway. It's like, how does that happen, this phenomenon? So we were asking like our weather guys and talk about the heat and all of that that's a part of it. And so Olivia's actually talking to the little catcher today, and also the umpire just talked to him. She told me, she texted me, she said he's already talked to the Weather Channel and Inside Edition today.
He's a superstar.
I mean, isn't it amazing how this stuff happens?
Yeah.
How quickly it happens? Is that a slow news day, or is just finally, hey, this is something fun and positive, and we don't have to talk about John Morant holding a gun and everything else?
Don't you think it's more of like a 2023 thing? Like everything is a big news story for 3.5 minutes, and then we move on.
Yeah, I guess, that's true. That's true. I don't know why. Like, why are we captivated by something like that?
The Dirt Devil?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. When I watched it, you wonder if everyone's safe, and then you see, it's no big deal, but it's kind of a harrowing thing. You look at the urgency from the ump, picking up the little catcher kid in his arm and just kind of carrying him away, and it seems, I think, a little more dangerous than maybe it was.
Yeah, I don't think it's very dangerous.
No.
I don't think anybody was going to die from it.
But the catcher
Right.
was significantly confused.
Like, he was actually in the middle of the tornado for a minute.
Yeah.
And he didn't move.
Right.
Right? So it was probably okay. But it looks like it's straight out of a cartoon
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
or a movie. I think that's it. I think we just don't see that. We actually did when the kids were, I don't know, 7, 8 years, whatever it was, somewhere in Lake City. I remember seeing one because I sent it to Mike. And I'm like, what is this? Like, how did this happen? Mike Borsch.
Yeah.
And so he explained it to me. But
Just
I haven't
replies with #weather.
Yeah, hashtag weather. So I haven't seen it much since. But the other part of it is, so this gentleman on Twitter who I've announced their starting lineup for their little kids team before.
That's fun.
Right? Because they'll play it. And so he asked me to do it. And so that's how I know him. I don't really know him, but that's how I know him. And so he tagged me in the video. it was his video. Like, he told us about it, and he tagged me in it and sent it to me. And so we used it on TV last night. Well, by last night, this is what happens today's day and age. Like, John Boy Media, you know that, Kasey, right?
Yep.
Like, they're big. What are they? Like, what would you...
A production company.
Is it a production? They just, go get, like, trending videos and stuff like that?
Content and stuff like that.
But it's also, it's usually sports related.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hey, they grabbed your video, man. And it's like got 150,000 views in 10 minutes. And it's just upticking.
Just goes everywhere.
And then all of a sudden, boom, Inside Edition, Weather Channel. It's crazy how quick it happens today.
Yeah.
You can't even, comprehend it, how fast it happens. So anyway, that's the fun story. It's a fun story, though. I don't even know if it's a story, but you're going to see it tonight.
Yeah,
on
you know
CBS
what?
47 and Fox 30, and we'll have it. Olivia's working on it.
It's almost like a new classification of news that happens often now. It's not a story, but it is a video. Like,
That's a good point.
It's worth watching and sharing and passing around, even talking about maybe with a coworker, hey, you see this? But there's nothing to it. It's just yes or no, and then you're moving on.
And then there's the Ja Morant story.
That is
and
a story.
video. What do we make of this? There's a lot going on here. We were just talking about it before the show.
Yeah.
And we don't usually come out of the gates with Ja Morant in the NBA, but this isn't a very interesting story from a workplace mess up. How much of it is a mess up? How much of it is an infraction of the law? How much of it should be a suspension? Where's this at? Immaturity and face of your franchise and face of the NBA. I mean, there's a lot here.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
it's complex.
It's pretty complex, yeah. And it sounds like from what you guys are saying, the latest is that he could be suspended by the NBA for up to a half a year. That's not official.
Yeah.
But there's certainly some things going on inside NBA circles to say, hey, we got to send this guy a message, right?
Yeah. The exact quote came from Shams on the Pat McAfee show. He said, the Grizzlies believe the league is going to come down hard on Ja Morant, and other people have picked up and said half a year is kind of what's being discussed. So 41 games, and although there's still a lot of things to find out as we currently look at it, or as I look at it, I won't speak for you guys, a half a season for not even potentially committing a crime is certainly something. It's a bad look. Don't get me wrong. Not good optics. Not good optics for the Grizzlies, the NBA, especially if that's one of your stars. And the Grizzlies, that's the face of your team. But as we know it now, he has not committed a crime.
You work. Listen, we kind of work in we work in corporate America, but you worked on it from a leadership standpoint. I mean, you go to leadership conferences and everything. We still wonder why you go and why you're
about
invited.
to go in
but
one in
hey,
a couple of weeks.
You go. So this is where it's fascinating to me. I mean, if it was the NFL, it would be about the shield, right? This is about the logo in the NBA. This is about the Memphis Grizzlies, right, as well. And this is perception more than it is legality at this point for me. Again, unless the cops go knocking on Ja Morant's door and arrest him, which hasn't happened yet from this video.
Right.
So, I mean, this is totally about corporate America, perception, and you being a part of our umbrella, right? That we feel like we have the power to say, we don't want this stuff going on.
Yeah, well, I think the more money that's on the line, the easier it is for a business to do things that normally we wouldn't be accepting of in terms of rules, regulations, and hand down punishments and stuff like that.
If I do what Ja Morant did on Instagram Live.
As a sports reporter for the television
right
station.
now, yeah. Do I get suspended?
Maybe, but only because you're a news personality and the video is very unprofessional. But not because you have a gun on you. Like, I think if you do a Facebook video of you at the Target range with your friends laughing and having fun, you're fine. I think if you do a video at the strip club laughing and drinking or in the car, like laughing with the music playing, then you're waving the gun around, I think your bosses look at you going, this is really irresponsible looking and makes us look poor, and there needs to be a consequence there for image.
Yeah, I get it. Like, I mean, I think I agree with you.
You're
I think
a public figure, though. But, like, if the dude working the Wawa does this and then his shift boss sees it on Instagram, like, no one's getting suspended on
You don't
that.
think so?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't either. And that's where I come from, the argument of if it's the 10th guy on the Grizzlies bench, what happens?
I think he gets fired.
because he's I
The
guess that
10th
is
guy
a
on the
fair point.
bench, yeah.
But like you don't hear the NBA going, "What? Wait a minute, the 10th guy on the bench, we got to suspend him a half a year."
Yeah.
Because they don't care about the 10th guy on the bench.
I will say,
To be frank.
I don't think it matters yet, unless he broke the law. I don't think it matters whether if the law was broken or not, based on the suspension length. We talked a little bit before the show about Ime Udoka and his suspension, which was 59 games. Originally, it was the entire season. They negotiated down to 59 games. No real law was broken there, consenting adults having a relationship, whether it was infidelity or not. But because it happened within the workplace, now the company, the Boston Celtics, and the company, the NBA, have to be sure they've got all their T's crossed, their I's dotted, and no one's liable to get in trouble there.
Well, and there's a handbook for it, right? And so there's by the way, in Ja Morant's contract, there's something that probably allows the NBA is just not going to suspend him or they'd be sued by, right? So there's definitely something in here that allows them to suspend him for whatever they view, conduct detrimental or whatever.
And it was.
And so, and there's so many different things going on here. I think I said to you guys when we were talking about this, I think in a way the NBA is trying to protect him from himself.
I think they would
with
say
a punishment.
That. Yeah, I think they would say
Yeah, but
that.
I kind of believe it. They want Ja Morant to be a face of the league for a long time to come.
See,
so they're doing it selfishly too, but they're trying to save him so he doesn't get in a little more trouble so they can get the benefit of Ja Morant playing basketball and not Ja Morant the failure attached to the NBA.
I agree with you on the goal, just not the intent. Like, I don't think they want him to be better so that he could be a better person. I just think they're worried about their product and don't want to have to worry about one of their best players being a problem all of the time. But I don't think they care about him as a person.
Well,
and I'm not sure that they have to. But, let's not pretend the NBA is suspending him in hopes that he turns his life around. This isn't altruistic by any stretch.
No, but again, one takes care of the other, right? Yes,
Yeah,
I would agree with you. Do they really care like Ja Morant? Well, no, but again, Ja Morant's a face of the franchise, a face of a franchise, one of the faces of the league, one of the young stars of the league. There's value in Ja Morant being a part of your product. And right now, he's putting a bad image on that in their eyes of their product, but they want him to have a positive image for the next 10 or 12 years.
Yeah.
So they don't want to, for the next 5 to 10 to 15 years, one, be talking about incidents involving Ja Morant, but two, talking about how Ja Morant was a failure potentially in the NBA because of XYZ. They'd like to be somebody, I think, that helps him make the right decisions, grow up a little bit, and then become, you name it, LeBron James or Joel Embiid or Jason Tatum or whatever else, because now you're making a ton of money off the guy.
Yeah.
Right?
I go back to this quote from after one of the playoff games against the Lakers, might have been the last game, April 28th, so 2 weeks ago. They asked Ja Morant about the series and what happened and if the gun charge from 2 months ago affected, or at least the controversy, not charge, affected him and his play. Here's his exact quote. "I've just got to be better with my decision making. That's pretty much it. Off the court issues affected us as an organization pretty much. I just need more discipline." And so they gave him discipline, a 2-week ban, and he went to counseling, and he said things were getting better, and he knew what he had to do, and he went out and did it again. And so at that point, I don't see any other way to handle this but without doing a significant suspension. What do you do in that case?
I'm going to ask you what feels like a dumb question, guys. But because, again, we don't know any legalities here of ownership of the gun or whatever else, I mean, is it asinine to suggest, did he do anything wrong?
Oh, I think he did something wrong, yeah. Any responsible gun owner will tell you what he was doing was completely irresponsible, and a lot of them would tell you he doesn't deserve to own the gun if he's going to play with it like that. And then to have this guy be the face of your franchise like you're talking about. You're talking about a multi-billion-dollar business in the Vancouver Grizzlies working under a multi-billion-dollar business. Oh, Vancouver. Memphis Grizzlies working under a multi-billion-dollar business in the NBA. And when there's so much money on the line, like I said before, it's how do you not take steps to protect yourself?
Yeah, but Kasey's big point here, and you can answer that part of it too, Kasey, but it's if you're not in handcuffs on something like this or getting a misdemeanor or whatever it is, then did you do anything wrong?
I think it's tough. I do agree with Aaron that any responsible gun owner would say that he did do something wrong. I do agree with you there. And I just think it's going to be tough for them to suspend a guy without committing a crime if we know for sure he did not commit a crime. Now, if the gun isn't his, all those things, that's a whole different situation. But as some of the other suspensions that we talked about, like stuff that actually happened. And this, he didn't break a law yet, as we know. So I think that's a real tough thing to suspend somebody for. And if I'm John Morant in that situation and you suspend me for not committing a crime, well, I'm not just going to take that, right? And then you've got a whole bigger problem for the NBA and the Grizzlies, because if I'm Ja, I want some get back on that. And I think they're in a really bad spot. I think there's no doubt that Ja's made some bad decisions and hasn't fully realized those decisions. So something does need to be done there. But I think it's up to Ja to make those decisions, not the NBA. Like, you want him to grow up, but can you force him to? I don't know.
Yeah, I listen, I think this is a part of sports and way we view these guys in all walks of life and all different sports. That's more difficult than we want to probably admit sometimes. I think some of these things are hard. I think, first of all, you're young. You've got a ton of money. You've got a ton of power. You're immature. Like, just because you're 23, 24 doesn't mean you're 23, 24-year-old LeBron knowing how to handle yourself at that age. Or I always said Tim Tebow versus Jameis Winston and how he handled himself. And guys are immature and young and don't know how to deal with it. And they're also handed something that they're not used to, a lot of fame, money, power, all those things. And some people do better with it than others. This always brings me back to, and this is a little unfair given the situation with John Morant now a couple of times, but I'm going to bring it up because this is what it reminds me of. And I've brought this up in the past. It reminds me of, like, Leonard Fournette here in Jacksonville. Because he admitted, like, I've got to change the people I'm hanging around with. Like, I've got to cut off some of the ties. And he wasn't waving guns on Instagram, by the way. Like, that wasn't it. He just thought he needed to separate from people that he was around just in case, or that he could get. And I don't even know what that meant, like, fully or looks like, but you get the idea that his circle wasn't the best circle for him to make the best decisions, for him to be a pro athlete, for all those things to happen. And I have no idea what that even looked like for a guy like Leonard Fournette, but he admitted that, I mean, we're doing a sit-down interview. He admitted that he needed to do that to help himself mature, grow up, make the right decisions. It looks like that's the case for a guy like John Morant. I don't know. I mean, is this the same guys that he's hanging out with, that he's doing this with all the time, that he needs to break away from? And how hard is that to do? Like, that is way more difficult than people. I don't care how much money you have. You think about your best friend from wherever your best friend comes from, however long he's been your best friend or she's been your best friend. You tell me breaking away from those folks, even if they're making bad decisions, is an easy thing or a hard thing. I would say it's a hard thing.
Oh, it's very hard. I think it's easier when on the other side of that is this big contract. And
yeah,
the
like
rest
$200 million.
And the rest of your career, essentially. Like, what are you doing with yourself if this guy's only ever done basketball? So, like, what do you do with yourself if that's not an option anymore? Like, your life is not just ruined. Like, you have no purpose at that point. But, you know, looking at the NBA, if you look at all the biggest suspensions in the history of the game, they fall into three categories. The first one is anti-doping. So people using performance-enhancing drugs for recovery or performance. And there are some big ones there. Then there's fighting, and you've got a few big ones there too, including Ron Artest, Steven Jackson, and then the famous Kermit Washington punch. But the other three are gun-related, and they're big suspensions. Gilbert Arenas, 50 games. You got this one we just talked about. That could potentially be 41 games. Javarius Crichton. I always struggle with his last name.
Yeah.
But 38 games. He brought a gun to the arena and then got into a confrontation with a player, and the whole thing came out, and it was basically the end of his career. I mean, he was suspended, though, the rest of the league year, and then no one would hire him
Yeah,
again.
so there's precedent.
Yeah.
But those things at least make some sense. Like the Gilbert Arenas, which we talked about for the
In
show,
the
Aaron,
workplace, yeah.
he pulled a gun on his teammate.
In an argument, yeah.
You should get suspended.
Like in the locker room, right?
I think it was on team facility, yeah, or team grounds. You should be, like, you did something wrong.
Yeah.
In those cases. And if I'm Ja, I'm like, wait a minute. You're going to give me a similar suspension. I wasn't with the team. I didn't pull a gun on anybody. Yes, I did have it. But again, if he has it legally, and by the way, if he lives in Memphis and he has a gun legally, I don't blame him. You shouldn't be showing it on Instagram. But still, like, you got to protect yourself in that situation. Ja's extremely popular in that city that has a lot of crime. So I'd be worried if I was him. And if I'm Ja, you can't suspend me for the same as pulling a gun on a teammate. I didn't do that.
I think it's a good argument for not getting arrested. I don't think it's a good argument for not getting suspended.
I'll tell you, Gilbert Arenas was a pretty big name.
He's giant. He's an all-star every year.
Right?
He's good.
So for 50 games, I mean, I think Kasey brings up an interesting point from the Ja perspective. But here's the thing, if you're Ja Morant, are you going to fight that? Or are you going to be like, because I'll tell you this, Gilbert Arenas didn't have $250 million and then another $250 million and maybe another $250 million on the line. It wasn't that kind of money. I mean, again, we're talking about different level superstar, I think, in Ja Morant. Is it worth just being like, you know what, you guys are right? Or is it worth fighting it and trying to prove that, you know, principally, Kasey, you might be right to some degree. Like that, like from a principle standpoint, the same kind of punishment for a half a year, or just be like, listen, I gotta figure this thing out. And the other thing, you mess around with here, if you go suspend a guy for 41 games, is he just for 41 games hanging around with those guys?
It seems like that's what the 8 games did. So yeah, that's a good point.
And I think you can do both if you're Ja, right? I think you can look at it, and again, a mature way to look at it would be, you know what, I did make some mistakes, but what you're doing to me is unfair. And yes, I have to be better, but this ain't right. What you're trying to do to me here. So,
but how could you listen to anything this guy says and go, well, he means it this time when he just said these words 2 months ago?
I agree. I do agree with that, right? So that is the tough part of it, because you're going to either have to believe him or he's going to fight. You know, there's going to be a whole thing either way. But I also think there could be part of it. We're talking about Ja, who is younger than me, younger than most. Like, do you think there's part of it that's like, hey, just because you're telling me to do this doesn't mean I want to do it? Like,
well, that is
you still
true.
have some of that.
That
so
is
like,
true, but
you suspend me 41 games? Okay, now I'm going to push back even more because this is ridiculous. And you could face that.
And that's fine. That's one way to take it, Kasey, but and I'm getting a lot of feedback, whether it's text or even through Twitter right now, about, hey, they should have suspended him the first time, right? They should have done this the first. Like, don't give him any leeway here. And the more you enable and kind of let him off the hook, the more that you're going to keep treating this down the road. And I'm not saying enabling is 41-game suspension. It seems like a pretty significant suspension to me.
Yeah.
Like when you guys said that at first, I was like, whoa, that seems like a lot.
It's a top 5 suspension. Yeah.
I mean, that's big time. But you got to, again, you get to make the rules. You're the NBA. You kind of get to make the rules that are within the rules of the CBA and everything else. And if they do that, at the end of the day, you're an employer or an employee to them. So there are rules to follow. I mean, I guess the other thing is if he wants to put up the fight you're talking about, Kasey, then go play in Europe somewhere else. But you ain't making this kind of money.
And you can't have any guns when you're out there.
That's fair.
Yeah, got to come home for the guns.
But you ain't making this kind of money. So, I mean, I don't know if this changes. Maybe Ja's just going to always do this. Maybe he's always going to do something, even though it's not even fully illegal.
Maybe.
So we'll see. Like, this could be a trend of his career, or it could be an immature stage of his life.
Could be the turning point.
Could be who he is. Yeah, could be.
Could be the Chris Carter turning point.
But I think it's a fascinating topic. You know what? This is a topic that could be put in some of your leadership meetings across corporate America. This isn't just a sports thing. Like how this is handled in certain workplaces, I would think would be very interesting.
Yeah. And then on top of that, by the way, something that I'm really sensitive to is accountability between different people. And so we were talking last week about the Lions and Jameson Williams, and everyone who was caught up in that betting scandal for the Lions has now either been fired or released, including the guy on the shorter suspension with Jameson, except for Jameson Williams. And that's because he's a top 10 draft pick and everybody else wasn't. But they're not being held to the same standard, and everybody understands why.
Yeah.
And I think the same could be said for Ja Morant getting an 8-game suspension on the last thing. He wasn't held to the same standard. They had the playoffs coming up. He had to get right for it. And now what?
Well, and that, what you just said, does happen in corporate America workplace. Mm-hmm. The guy that's bringing in $1 million is going to get another chance.
Yeah.
The guy that hasn't brought in any over the last year and a half, and they wanted a way to get out of the deal with him anyway,
they'll take it.
See you later, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of life, whether you like it or not, but that certainly does happen. So keep an update on the Ja Morant situation. Fascinating on a lot of levels and troubling for some along the way. It's a big talker around the sports world. And by the way, Ja Morant's not even playing basketball right now. You really wonder as they go into the offseason, like, all right, is he going to get into more trouble? Does he have too much time on his hands?
That's true.
We'll talk some football when we come back. Brent Friends on a Monday at ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly sunny and hot on this Monday with highs back up to 90 in Jacksonville. It'll be partly cloudy overnight with mild overnight temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. And then Tuesday is partly sunny and hot again. Will be near 90 with a few showers and storms. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sema.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, proud to offer a huge selection of both lab-grown and natural diamonds at the lowest prices guaranteed.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjax.com.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
You know that the technical trades are red hot with career opportunities. Skilled heating and air technicians are highly respected and make great money. And nowhere are the opportunities hotter than at Hammond Air Conditioning, a local Jacksonville HVAC contractor that's been serving commercial and residential customers for over 60 years. Hammond is hot because there's plenty of work and a variety of rewarding and interesting roles, especially for experienced commercial duct installation techs where the projects are already scheduled and you could get to work right away. While Hammond has job openings in all areas, we're especially in need of residential and commercial service technicians. Because of the variety of work Hammond performs, you'll have a bigger variety of career directions you could take advantage of compared to the other HVAC contractors. And you'll be working for a family-owned local company that wants to see you advance and make more money. Go to HammondAC.com or call 904-398-6488.
Got my beach towel? Check. My beach chair? Check. And I'm in luck because the Summer Starts Here sales event is going on now at Arlington Toyota. Now's the time to get hot deals on even hotter Toyotas. Even better, Arlington's got over 300 new Toyotas available. And with every new Toyota purchase at Arlington, you get Arlington's lifetime warranty. That's unlimited time and miles. I think this is going to be your best summer yet. Shop the Summer Starts Here sales event at Arlington Toyota today. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Here's Ben and John Lupo, owners of Beards Diamonds.
It's funny, my dad has sold people engagement rings, and now I'm selling their kids engagement rings and anniversary gifts and birthday gifts now for their children and grandkids. So it's pretty cool to see that family tree grow.
We're blessed with the relationships we've built over the years. Our non-commissioned sales associates are experts. They have only one goal: your complete satisfaction.
We have a 6,000 square foot showroom with anything and everything that you can want. Beards Diamonds has been family owned and locally operated since 1981.
40 years later, it's still our goal to offer the largest selection of quality diamond jewelry at the best prices in Jacksonville, guaranteed. The reason we can make that promise? As Beards owners, we are on the floor helping you with your purchase. We have no corporate bosses setting the price. The chain stores can't touch our prices. They just can't.
Check out our full inventory at beardsdiamonds.com. Come in and see us. We'd love to help you. Anybody that steps foot in our stores is automatically a part of the Beards family.
Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
We want you to join the show on ESPN 690. Brent Friends daily, 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. Make a comment in the iCryo chat chamber on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Be part of the discussion and visit iCryo in St. Johns County. Elevate your lifestyle.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Did we do the schedule counter yet?
We're still working on it. The problem is that I didn't keep track of which games I thought were going to be primetime. But if you're really looking for a winner, we could just crown you the winner.
I already won again?
Because you got both of the London games.
Yeah, but that
you
was
also knew the schedule.
Yeah.
So, like, it's unfair.
But you nailed the Tennessee game at the end of the year.
Shocker.
So you got points for that.
Shocker.
I did.
But that was
That's
the
good.
only 3 games you got.
You hear how surprised he sounds?
That was the only 3 I got?
Yeah. Like I got Buffalo and Atlanta for the London games, but I got the wrong week for Atlanta.
Yeah,
and I got the right week for Buffalo, and then I got no other games.
It's too bad for you.
Yeah, it was.
All right, so we didn't do that well is what you're getting
Nobody's the winner.
You didn't get one game right, Kasey?
You did.
I did.
London?
You got the London game.
I got more than that.
What'd you get? You got Cincy as a primetime, but you get the week right.
Ain't no way I only got one. Ain't no way.
I mean, I didn't really check. We were just talking before the show.
That's why
I checked me, and I did Brent's. Once I did Brent's, and I saw you only had 3, and I looked at mine, and I was like, I got nothing.
Tennessee at the end, right?
Home or away you got?
Away.
There's not much here, guys.
There's not much here. Here's where there's something. I told you Matt Ryan should have retired last year.
Why? He shouldn't have. I think he proved that.
Against the Jags, he did.
Well, no, I'm just saying, because if he retired, he'd be out some of this money he's holding on to.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good business play, right?
Oh, yeah. Ryan was released by the Colts back in March, right? And he's joined CBS Sports as an NFL analyst. He put the tweet out. We'll have it in tweets later if you want to take a look at Matty's face, Matty Ice. But he said in the post, Brent, P.S., this is not a retirement post. And everyone got all up in arms.
Why?
They were like, what, is he going to play somewhere? Or is he just holding out? Maybe someone's going to give him a call in October. So maybe the Commanders come calling when they can't get Andrew Luck this year.
Well, it's a little bit of that, right?
But then, apparently, according to ESPN and Stephen Holder, cutting Ryan cleared $17 million in cap space for the Colts, but $12 million of that remaining sum he's owed is connected to this year's base salary. So if he retires officially, it could impact his ability to collect on that $12 million.
So my man,
Matty Ice is doing the double dip. He's doing a little Colts money. He's got a little CBS money. I'm a big fan of the double dip.
Yeah, that's a great move. Matt Ryan, smart guy now.
Smart guy.
Smart guy. And how will he be in the broadcast booth?
You got a feeling? Because I'm telling you, I don't think he's going to be that good.
I mean, smart guy. Did we just do that?
Sure, but here's why I don't think he's going to be that good. Clearly, CBS isn't hiring him sight unseen, right? They put him in like a booth or something, testing him out. And here's what they say about...
They did hire Brady sight unseen.
That's true. Brady's a name, though, that'll bring people, right? Here's what... he's going to work both as a studio and game analyst.
Yeah.
Not just for CBS TV, but across all CBS sports platforms. So when you see him on like the web-only analysis during halftime of a 1 o'clock game, you know why.
Yeah.
I bet he doesn't actually call games. I bet he's never actually in the booth. I bet he's okay in studio.
But maybe he grows into it.
He might. I bet off the rip, he's studio guy. Maybe like a random, 1 p.m. Arizona that nobody wants to watch game, or the Colts, and he can talk about his old team and how bad they are. But I think this is going to be a studio play at first, and then to your point, I bet he's on social.
He just looks like he's got the personality of a Q-tip cotton swab. Like he's just so vanilla looking and sounding. I can't imagine him being that compelling.
I bet he's more entertaining than you think he is. Because like even a guy like was it Greg Olsen? Is that tight end? Carolina?
Who's great.
He's been great, right? I mean, I wouldn't expected him to be great in the booth.
I mean, I hadn't really seen him talk before that.
So I don't know if that makes a difference. But what you're saying is it could be right on the money. See, if you do the studio shows, you can actually like use some of their big sets and area to showcase like this is how you throw a football in the rain, or this is how you do this, or this is how you whatever, right? So he can actually like diagram plays, which for us in TV is kind of fun. And you don't do that on a telestrator or in the booth that you never see Matt Ryan. So I think the studio will be a good fit for him. The other thing that just I can't get over is how many Colts quarterbacks just go into retirement or semi-retirement and hope to come back sometime. It's happened to Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz, I mean, it feels like it kind of happened to him. He went to Washington, which is like a retirement home.
Yeah. You got to wonder if this is a play by Matt Ryan to coach the Colts next year. Because this is the job to get the job.
Maybe it is. Doesn't it put a bow on like Chris Ballard's like
ineptitude?
Ineptitude at the quarterback spot. Like, does this make you feel better about who the Colts drafted? I'm sorry, Anthony Richardson. I'm trying not to. With all due respect, but how can this make you feel better that they misjudged this so much on like the Matt Ryan front? And it does still bother you, or should bother you here in Jacksonville, that he absolutely torched the Jags.
Man.
Him and Carson Wentz, their two best games were against the Jags. And it's like they never played another good snap the rest of the year.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. I'm sure they did.
Still, what does that say more to you about just these guys' ability to get up for that game, or the fact that rivalry games are just always filled with parity regardless of where the teams are at?
Yeah, I think when you played, what was it? They probably played each other twice in like a 5-week span or something. So I think that had a little something to do with it. And they knew where they could break people down. You don't. I always say this: if you're going to play somebody in whatever today, and you're going to play them again next week or in 2 weeks, and you just throttle them, well, you're not the guy making adjustments, right?
Like, you're trying to do the same thing.
You're just trying to do the same thing until they adjust and prove that they can handle it. Well, they did, and then I don't know if the Jags could adjust quick enough, and partly because of Shaq Griffin, partly because of their linebacking core at that time. They just couldn't stop anything.
Yeah.
They could not stop anything that day.
Ian Jensen in the iCryo chat chamber agreeing with you. He says it means the Jags D might still have some issues.
Well, I think they got a lot better after that game. That was just an awful game. Well, I shouldn't say a lot better, because somewhere after that game, Detroit never punted.
Was that 41
So they
points?
did have some issues still.
Yeah.
Another thing that we have our eyes on from a schedule standpoint, by the way, must-watch games in the AFC South.
Now, I found this piece interesting only because the AFC has so many must-watch teams in it. How do you start really getting your must-watch games like whittled down?
I don't know how, like, the Texans on here have the Colts in week 2. Is that really like must-watch? Because it's rookie quarterbacks potentially.
If you're looking at the AFC South, like what else do you have to get excited about aside from the Jags and rookie quarterbacks for everybody else?
Probably nothing else.
But
yeah.
here's the thing that's
but
interesting.
Early in the year, I mean, the Colts might play Gardner Minshew that day.
Another thing that's interesting about the must-watch games, or at least what PFF considers to be must-watch games for the schedule this year, you've got the Texans. Their must-watch game is against the Colts, but then Carolina Panthers' must-watch game is against the Texans. You've got the Colts. Their must-watch game is against the Panthers, but then the Falcons, their must-watch game is against the Colts. Then you've got the Titans. Their must-watch game is against the Ravens. They've got another must-watch game from somebody else. The Jags are the only team on this list of 32 that I could find that have only one game listed because they had to, because they were going through every team. And according to PFF, their must-watch game is against the Chiefs. Well, sure it is.
Is it?
But I think so. How do you miss that game if you think the Jags are going to be a possible contender this year? But then does that mean the Bengals game isn't a must-watch? Because that's a must-watch too.
Casey, must-watch game for the Jags. Chiefs, Bengals, Ravens, Niners, Bills.
I can only pick one.
Yeah, you
for
get
this
one.
exercise, yeah. And maybe it's not one of the good teams. Maybe must-watch is a Titans game.
Bengals.
Just because of Joe Burrow.
Well,
Burrow and Trevor. It's at night.
It's not, yeah. So there's a little bit like that. See, I feel, listen, if the Jags lose to the Chiefs in week 2, I don't want to say who cares, but like who cares a month later? As long as they're winning football games. Like there's no, we saw this with the Jags like back in 2018. They beat the Patriots. It was awesome. It was great, but it didn't matter in the grand scheme.
It may not be an indicator of things, but I do think it sets the table for the storyline and the narrative of later down in the season when they play in the playoffs.
But losing to the Chiefs, the Bills could then do that. But and see what I think. I agree with Casey because I do think Burrow and Trevor, like there's a lot there that could be there for more. Like Mahomes is 4 years. It feels like he is 4 years ahead of Trevor.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel as paralleled as Burrow does. And Cincinnati's that Well, perennial loser. He's flipped it. The Jags, perennial loser, flipped it. Like, it has that in common. That's why I think even the Bills would have that in common with the Jags, too. Like, there's something there from a measuring stick standpoint. And then lastly, under the lights and also in early December, like when the games are going to start to matter, like really matter. And you can, if the Jags beat the Chiefs in week 2, everybody will be excited, and that would be great. But I can't tell you that means the Jags are going to be good in January. If the Jags win or lose or play great or play poorly against the Bengals, I think I'll have a pretty good idea where the Jags are headed. Doesn't mean I'm guaranteed. They'll still have 4 or 5 games to go, but we'll have a good idea of what they are, who they are by early December. So I would say the must-watch game to me is the Bengals game in early December.
I'm looking at that week 2 game versus the Chiefs, and your point is right. Like, well, who cares about a week 2 game, win or loss? The teams are going to look different by the time you get to the end of the season. Who knows who's going to get where? But the reality is the Jags were bounced from the playoffs last year by the Chiefs. And this is their first shot at redemption, direct redemption. And I think if the Jags come out in Kansas City and look flat, it sets a really bad tone for the weeks to come.
Well, we talked about this Friday, Kasey, as well. If they lose somehow in Indianapolis, they've got a real chance to go 0-2. So it could be an alarming game.
It could.
Against Kansas City.
It could, yeah. It's a nightmare scenario, especially coming off all the momentum if you were to start 0-2. But again, it would suck, but it's not final, right?
Yeah, far from it.
Plenty of time to go, and then you get to play Houston. But I think they will lose to Houston somewhere during the season. I think it'll be in Houston. I don't think it'll be at home. But if Houston is better and you've lost 2 in a row, it's not going to be fun.
You're not interested in that Colts-Panthers game they have listed for the Colts in Week 9? You most likely have Richardson versus Bryce Young at that point.
Yeah, like, that's cool. Like, I get it by Week 9. My other one was the Week 2 one, Houston and the Colts didn't make a lot of sense to me because I think Gardner Minshew could start the year. And maybe Anthony Richardson's playing some package stuff, but I don't think he's playing the entire game.
Go ahead.
I'm going to make a bold prediction with you guys right now. You want to write this down, you can.
Ooh.
Whether the Jags win or lose in the opener, I think they're beating the Chiefs.
Yeah, wow. In Kansas City.
No, it's here.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, it's here. So, yeah, they are. I think that's my first bold prediction of 2023 schedule. I don't know how bold it is. I'm just telling you, win or lose. And I know you can hold me to it, Kasey, because, like, if they were to somehow lose against Indianapolis and the sky is falling already in Jacksonville and you have Kansas City on the horizon, I think they find a way to win that next. Like, I think they're going to beat them. That's it.
Right. It's likelier that Kansas City, not that they care less, but there's less urgency for them to win a Week 2 game versus a Week 21 game.
Yeah. I've got another thought or two on the schedule that we didn't get to on Friday, and I want to ask you about it, Aaron, too, and everybody else, and it'll take some, is it recency bias or is it real? That's coming up. Probably wait till the top of the hour so we can break into that discussion. Aaron apparently had a successful Mother's Day.
Very successful.
That's good news.
And I screwed up the anniversary, so I really needed this one.
Well, good work, man. Yeah. Proud of you.
Yeah, me too.
Way to recover.
Thank you.
Bounce back.
Yeah.
Bounce back birdie for Aaron. We'll be back on ESPN 690. We have Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton tonight at 6 o'clock. Episode 11 of No Gate Fees tonight at 7 o'clock. 2 more to go here in this inaugural 2023 season of No Gate Fees. That's tonight at 7 on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. We'll have 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000. All you have to do is enter the correct keyword at ESPN690.com to be eligible to win. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply. ESPN 690 pays your bills. Sponsored by the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Weekdays at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 2, and 5 p.m. Tune in to win from ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
I'm Marcus Roberts, and I've been blind since I was 5 years old. I'm a jazz pianist and composer, and I've been fortunate to perform all over the world for more than 30 years. I am also a proud graduate of the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind. While there, I had great teachers who specialized in working with blind and visually impaired students. FSDB provided me with many of the essential skills I needed to succeed. The school is a state public school available at no cost to eligible K through 12 Florida students who are deaf, blind, or both. FSDB helps students to do more, be more, and achieve more. It prepares them for a lifetime of success. For more information, call 800-342-3732 or visit www.fsdbk12.org.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Mary on Demand is live. Start your marijuana education journey today and learn more with Mary on Demand. Take the self-guided education series at your own pace. You'll decide what you'd like to learn and when. Visit mary.famu.edu to learn more. That's mmeri.famu.edu. Mary, educate, learn, talk.
Does your digital marketing work? Not sure? Would you like to be? Then reach out to CMG Local Solutions. At CMG Local Solutions, we help you find new customers with a suite of powerful digital marketing services, including search, targeted display, video, and analytics. In fact, we're a Google Premier partner, an honor given only to their top marketing partners. So if you want results you can actually measure, both on the web and on your bottom line, we can give them to you. Learn more about how we can help you at cmglocalsolutions.com.
On average, an artificial limb for a child starts at $5,000, and the first prosthetic for an adult can cost up to $50,000, making it nearly impossible for disabled children or veterans to afford the limb they need. At Life Giving Limbs, we cover the cost of these prosthetics, giving recipients a chance at receiving a new limb and a new start on life. Please help by donating now. Visit lifegivinglimbs.com or call 469-601-8523.
My name is Jillian. I'm a business development consultant here at Cox Media Group in Jacksonville, Florida. I graduated college almost a year ago and never thought I'd already have a career in sales that has given me the best postgraduate job experience. CMG has given me the opportunities to grow my creativity and allow me to be myself in every way possible when helping other businesses grow. Do you want to get a head start right out of college like I did? Then join us next Wednesday for an open house 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Email us at jacksjobs@cmg.com for more info. That's next Wednesday, May 24th, CMG Open House from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
I am Dion Wellington, owner of Ice Capade Frozen Treats, and a Jack's Chamber member and graduate of JWBC's Entrepreneurial Certificate Program. Connecting with JWBC has provided me with the education, resources, and meaningful relationships to be more confident in growing my business in historic Springfield. This support is invaluable to women in business, and I am most thankful to be part of it. For more information, visit jacksjwbc.com.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690. Hope everyone had a very nice Mother's Day.
Very nice.
And was as good as Aaron was.
We had a good one.
To his wife.
We had a good one.
I mean, Kasey, he came in here bragging about how good he did.
Oh, I heard. I heard
Was
all
it really
about
brag?
it.
I was just sharing the news with you guys. I did good.
And we're happy for you.
I got a good report card this morning. She told me on the way out the door. She's like, I feel seen. I feel appreciated. I felt pampered. I was like, that's right. Now get back to work.
I wonder why Steph didn't say anything to me.
Yeah, exactly. You seem like you're awful at not fumbling these things based on the things you tell us.
Yeah, I'm not fabricating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really trying very hard.
Which is weird because you're like one of the most thoughtful coworkers I've ever had.
Yeah. I don't know why. Like, it's not a big deal.
For your marriage?
Yeah.
To who? To you?
To both of us.
Are you sure?
Well, we're not in therapy yet.
All right, because that's how I screwed up the anniversary. I was asking her, hey, do we really need to do something for the anniversary? Like, it's a weird time for money for us. Can't we just love on each other? She's like, yeah, sure. I didn't get her flowers or anything. I didn't get her a card. I just told her happy anniversary. I love you. And boy, was that the wrong move.
How many times over the years have you said, well, you're not my mom?
Never? Have you said that? No. No. You didn't say that.
I didn't say
Oh, no.
I mean, I just did on radio, but.
Definitely said it. Oof. I'd come in with some bruises if I said that.
I'd tell you.
I'd take one right to the chin if I said that.
Did you do anything for Mother's Day?
I went and saw my mom.
Well, I mean, for Amanda.
So you punished her. What about a gift?
Blue's your kid.
I got Amanda a card.
All right.
Blue got Amanda a card.
Aw.
There we go. Very nice.
Mm-hmm. It was nice. You're dang right.
I mean, we went out to eat.
Someplace nice.
I mean, it was okay. Yeah.
Okay.
McDonald's.
But taking her out to eat is nice. That's fine.
We got McChickens in the drive-thru.
I didn't take my wife out to eat, but I did take care of making sure dinner was taken care of at our mom's house.
There
We
you
ordered
go.
some like bonos from your folks, and
There's a lot of pressure on you.
a little bit.
Seems like there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I put the pressure on myself too, though, a little
Do you?
bit, because I'm a big chip on the shoulder guy. I told my wife, I said, "You want to make me try harder in this marriage? Tell me I'm the second best husband you've ever had." Because she has been married twice. I was like, the day you tell me that, forget
It's
it.
over.
You'll never have to think about anything ever again.
Did she say that to you?
She feels bad about. So I'm telling her this is the only way to make it work, because otherwise I'm a real failure at being a
She's
husband.
opening the door. She should slip that in at some
She
point
really does
where
need
it
to.
matters.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, but I took care of the
I mean, you're
bonos
definitely the third best guy on the show.
right now. Maybe fourth right
We're
now.
to see if that works.
But yeah, that's how my mental illness operates. But yeah, I got her a gift card to a place she wanted to go. I took the kids out to a movie to get them out of the house so she didn't have to worry about
that's
any
nice.
of that stuff. I took care of the laundry. I took care of all the dishes when it wasn't even my turn. Took care of the food for her mom's house. I had it covered, man.
Ty and I have gone golfing on Mother's Day before.
I didn't think moms like that kind of stuff, but now I think they do. To be alone.
Get a little reprieve?
Because
Yeah.
that's what I say every year. She's like, what should I get you for Father's Day? I was like, get me like 3 uninterrupted hours to play video games on a phone. And then we're good.
Meanwhile, I heard I was a topic of conversation in Tallahassee, Kasey.
Yeah, you were. You came up about your boomer handshake with Trevor Lawrence.
Discussed around the Mother's Day dinner table.
How did this come up?
My dad listens to the show.
Your dad was
so
like,
he was
Kasey.
asking about the.
He was
Yeah.
like, that was great.
He was like, Kasey, tell me about the most embarrassing thing Brent's ever done in front of a TV camera.
And I was like, well, guess what?
Let me tell you.
Nah, he thought that was a great bit. My mom didn't think it was fair that we were making fun of you.
I like Teresa a lot better than Chip.
And then my mom
nice.
And then my mom was like, why are we calling him Bert? I said, it's his name. It's his name. I don't know.
It's his name.
His name's Bert. So then she kind
I
of
like
got
that they
confused
listen.
for a minute. She's like, is his name really Bert? Like, have I been listening wrong the whole time? Like, she thought Brent wasn't actually your name. It was Bert. So I had to let her know that
In the streets, his name
you
is
go
Bert.
by Bert. Your name's Brent, but you go by Bert.
There is a little disagreement on how to spell Bert.
Is there?
There's a contingent of the fan base that spells it B-U-R-T.
All right, like Bert and Ernie.
Yep. And then there's a contingent that spells it B-E-R-T, which is what I thought Bert from Bert and Ernie spelled it, but okay. So we just got to figure that out without your input, and then we'll get back to you on it.
Good deal. Thanks. So I can sign my autographs the right way.
Exactly. Well, we know you carry the Sharpie with you.
I do.
so-
Have one in my pocket right now.
Yeah.
But big shout out to Teresa. Happy Mother's Day.
Yep.
And we appreciate you having my back on the handshake thing, because the handshake thing was way overblown.
Not really.
No, it was awful.
Way
dude.
overblown.
It was super
It was
awkward.
super
No, it was
embarrassing.
not that bad. I'm going to
Super
ask Trevor about it. I'm going to ask him if he was uncomfortable.
All right, here's the deal. When you ask Trevor and he cringes before he answers.
We need it on video. Like, you
You'll-
can't ask
yeah.
him just walking in, passing conversation. He needs to be on the podium.
And Case, why don't we go ahead and book a body language expert so we can review the video and just let Brent know where the
That would
tips
actually
and
be pretty
clues
good.
are.
We should
You
definitely
could have taken the body language expert from the live interview. You're writing an idea down?
Yeah, I am.
How do you get to become a body language expert? Like, what do you go to school for?
BS. You're just telling people that you're a body language expert?
Yeah, it's a good point. Like, you just didn't make it in chemistry or something.
So I decided to go into this.
Yeah.
I failed hotel management, so I am now a body language expert.
I was
that's
looking at
how
the other
analytics
courses
was,
I had taken.
That's probably how
This
analytics
works.
was started, and now they've got analytics majors all over the place. Like, I wonder how many were started that way.
Yeah.
Okay, this seems like a popular thing. Let's make a major out of it.
I love this. I got to find a body language expert.
I will ask Trevor at the appropriate time.
Sweet.
He's got to be in the right frame of mind.
How about right after your next unsuccessful handshake with him? Hey, remember we did this a couple of months ago?
Was this worse than the first one?
He's going to start shaking.
Marissa was there, too. I could ask her if it was awkward. Did it look awkward?
We're going to find out. He turns down his extension. They're like, why, Trevor? We thought you loved Jacksonville. Like, did you see the handshake, though?
I got to keep talking to that guy.
Since that moment, I just couldn't do it anymore.
I'm going to Baltimore.
All right, here's my question for you. That we didn't get to. I raised this last night on TV for the first time, and I'm raising it to you guys and everybody listening. Jump in. Is this the best schedule in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Wow.
Think about that. Brent Friends on ESPN 690 next. This is a busy time of year for families, especially if you have teenagers, kids getting their license, kids going off to college, and someone probably needs a new car, and that's why you go to Nimnick Buick GMC, #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Looking for the perfect truck or SUV? Nimnick Buick GMC has more models on the ground than they've had in over 2 years. Looking for a used car under $18,000? Nimnick has a great selection of over 300 used cars, trucks, and SUVs to choose from. Visit the showroom off Phillips Highway or shop NimnickBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Just be confident. Just be wise. Just be free. Financial security is a goal everyone has. What that looks like and how you get there is up to you. You don't have to do it all on your own. Community First Move Up Financial Wellness Program gives you the tools you need to make smarter decisions to help you reach your financial goals your way. Get started at communityfirstfl.org. Community First Credit Union. Just be yourself. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
Imagine you're looking at a balancing scale with everything you do for other people on one side and everything you do for yourself on the other side. If it isn't balanced, maybe it's time to spend a little more time on you. And therapy is a great place to start. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can help you find that balance and stick to it. Visit BetterHelp.com/score to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/score.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I think my battery's dead.
With free battery testing and charging, AutoZone is here to help.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
What if I need a new one?
We have the right batteries right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone,
And what if I don't know how to connect it?
No problem. We have a how-to for you at AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
The Beaches Green Market is a great place for families, friends, and pets to shop and eat local. Come to the Beaches Green Market this and every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Penman Park on Penman Road, just north of Beach Boulevard for fresh local fruits and vegetables, plants, meats, eggs, baked goods, honey, wellness products, ready-to-eat snacks and drinks, and local artist craft goods. If you have an EBT card, stock up on free fruits and vegetables and edible plants. The Beaches Green Market, connecting people to better food. Go to diglocal.org to learn more.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates, it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Quarterback Dylan Raiola, the number one prospect in the 2024 recruiting class, told ESPN he has committed to Georgia. He's the son of former NFL offensive lineman Dominic Raiola. The process of gathering more information on the latest situation involving Grizzlies star Ja Morant continues for the NBA. Morant, seen in a social media post over the weekend holding a gun, has been suspended by the Grizzlies from all team activities. 2 months ago, the league suspended Morant 8 games over a similar situation. Memphis's front office has a difficult task ahead dealing with the face of the franchise, notes ESPN's Bobby Marks.
You basically built this roster around him. He's the face of your franchise. He's everywhere. As this roster goes, you have to have basically Ja Morant as your main guy. So yeah, I mean, there's the discipline part of it, but then there's the certainly the team part of it as far as how how you handle it.
Bobby Marks on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Stanley Cup playoffs, Kraken Stars. Game 7 tonight, 8 Eastern, ESPN TV.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year 2 pom-pom people.
Kasey Kuhrts.
Yo! Well, what are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship.
Get him! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Hit him! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom!
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Kasey Kuhrts, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
We really do need a psychologist on this show.
I think it would be fun. Like Thursdays on the couch with Brent and Friends.
We need it. A lot of different angles.
Start breaking everybody down. Every guest we have come on the show, we give them complimentary head shrinking. Right? It's
That'd
like, hey, beat reporter for the Chargers, before you leave, can we talk about your mother?
Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. Happy Monday, everybody. And listen, schedule's been out for a little bit, still kind of making the rounds, and people are talking about it because they love to talk about the NFL. We had a weekend of rookie minicamp Friday and Saturday for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you can see a lot of that coverage on our YouTube channel, Action Sports Jax. Got a chance to catch up with Brenton Strange and Anton Harrison. Who else we catch up with? Antonio Johnson the other day on the show in the 5 o'clock hour. Yeah, I mean, our favorite, well, I'm mixing Kasey in here because I think he was really good, was Brenton Strange. Like you could tell he's got a little chip on his shoulder, and like he's gonna be a tough dude for, again, I think tough, physical with this draft and who they added, and I think it's there. I think if you look at Anton Harrison, he's a freaky looking athlete now. He's a big fella who looks like he can move. Like you don't make many humans like that. Brenton Strange, I think, is a guy that wants to move people and then run over people. I think that's his game. I think Tank Bigsby is nicknamed the Tank for a reason, but sneakily can run too. I think people think of him from a physical standpoint, not a speed standpoint. And then if you go a little bit deeper, you've got the guys like Abdullah who look the part, aren't as tall, but wide body, physical body. And then Antonio Johnson, who many think has been drafted to be a thumper type guy and also play some special teams. So that speaks to physicality. The Jags obviously didn't think they were physical enough at times last year. I hesitate to say they play a violent game.
Yeah.
So to say the Jags weren't physical would not be fair.
It's kind of an understatement,
right?
Yeah.
Because I think of guys like Evan Ingram, and I thought he was a very physical player for the Jags last year.
But I understand what you're saying. Stylistically punching people in the mouth is not necessarily how people would categorize the Jaguars.
And I really go to the middle part of last year Baltimore and some other examples in a stretch of football where we're like, hey, they are getting beat up a little bit here. And part of that, I think, is youth. Because I think there's man strength and then there's strength.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying these guys aren't tough, physically fit, bigger, faster, stronger guys, but then there's man strength, you know? And I think all you have to do is look at the offensive line. You look at Brandon Sheriff, that's a man. That's a grown man. You look at Luke Fortner, that's a young man. And there's a difference. In 5 years, Luke Fortner is going to be a grown man playing football. And I just think it's a different kind of strength. I don't know if it's probably not the most eloquent way to say it, but I think that does exist.
People get it. I think any sports fan will look at some of their favorite athletes and what they look like when they came into the league versus what they look like in the prime of their careers.
Yeah, and some guys are so physically gifted they can be strong right off the rip anyway, right?
DK Metcalf.
But I do think the parts of the if you think of the physical guys on the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm not sure you'd point to the youth last year. Again, Evan Ingram's now a 5-6 year vet. Plays a physical style game from the tight end position for who he is. I actually think one of the young guys that I thought physically played really, really well at times is Travis Etienne. The guy runs hard. He can run through the tackles. And, man, he takes a hit now. He can take a hit.
He kind of bounces up.
He kept getting right back up.
Yeah.
Nobody gets hit harder in the league than Travis Etienne, in my opinion. And he got back up. So that's part of physicality. Can you take the hit, right? So it'll be interesting to see. And the other guy, Andre Sisco, right? Andre Sisco showcased that against Juju Smith-Schuster and the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think the Jags have signs of it. I think they wanted to beef that up. I think they want to – and now you've got a couple of players coming in, and even though this will kind of go against what I just said, they're young players, but they're play a physical brand. Like, that's their nature. That's their MO, is that some of these guys have a physical style to them. Antonio Johnson, Brenton Strange, and I wonder – Tank Bigsby. I wonder if that stuff shows up for the Jags and help them feel a little more presence. This is very similar to Leonard Fournette. Think about what the Jags did in 2017. Coughlin came in here, and you knew he wanted to be more physical. He wanted to have that punch you in the mouth, old school style, or in the trenches. He built that mentality. Doug Marrone built that mentality as an offensive lineman. And then they bring in a guy like Fournette, who's going to be a tough in-between-the-tackles runner. He's not afraid of that. And I think that helped dictate play for them. They have an identity. They're going to play a tougher brand of football. Well, what did they do that year? They led the NFL in rushing that season. So I'm not telling you that the Jags are going to go lead the league in rushing, but they went out and drafted a fullback, and they've got these physical attributes now to the additions that they put on this roster, and I think it will give them a little bit more of that mentality going up to 2023. I think. We'll see. But I think that's one of the ideas of what they were able to do. And that, by the way, is not going to show up in rookie minicamp. Like, that didn't show up Friday, Saturday.
You don't think of Doug as like one of these classic bruiser head coaches, though, right? Like, his offenses are usually more finesse than that, aren't they?
You say that, but when you think of, like, I would agree with you because we think of Philadelphia and that team that put up 40-something points in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. So I agree. But when you do think of Philadelphia, do you think finesse?
I mean, they did have the
Not
running
this
back
year,
by
but even
committee
then,
that were a bit bruising. Sure.
And they played the tight end game, which is a physical position.
true.
Even
Yep.
in the passing game, that's a physical position. Their defense had a lot of physical players in it.
I just keep thinking of Wentz and the receivers on that team, Deshaun Jackson just running downfield at 87 miles an hour.
Well, and the bottom line is this. The game can't be played at just a physical level anymore. You know who tried to do that? The Ravens. The Ravens said, we don't care about weapons. We're just going to punch you in the mouth. But you can't do that.
Yeah.
You've got to be explosive and physical. And I think Philadelphia now does that.
Yeah, even the Steelers are loading up like that.
Yeah, but Philadelphia's team really showcases, and of course they're physical from their quarterback perspective. Like, that gives you a different mentality, right? A different identity. So, yeah, I hesitate to say, I think Doug feels more high-flying. But I believe you looked this up last year at some point, maybe going into the season, where we wondered how much would they pass versus how much would they run. And you said that 2017 Super Bowl season,
It was pretty close.
It was like 54-46 pass run.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as crazy. Now, this year for the Jags, I think it was skewed even more.
65-35 roughly, yeah.
Oh, was it that much?
It was close to that. Yeah, I'll pull it up.
But either way, I don't think he wants to be a 50-50 guy, but I don't think the perception of Doug throwing it around the yard is as accurate as maybe his history tells us.
I do think last year possibly might have a caveat in that. Number one, in the beginning of the year, you're playing from behind a lot, so you're throwing a little more. And number two, you lose your big bruising back, so now you've got a tailback in ETN who you also throw to. So maybe that skews the numbers a little bit, but I'll try
tell
to
me
find
what those numbers are, because I think it's more 60-40 or maybe it was even 58-42 or something like that. I don't know if it was as high as 65. That would surprise me. You might be right, but it would surprise me. Okay, the question out there now, is the Jags schedule the best that it's ever been in the history of the franchise? Think about that now. And probably in the early 90s, you had some of these moments, right? When you're good, you're going to be on primetime. There were Monday night games but digest the Jags schedule right now, and I think you can make the case for it. One, the division games are reasonable because the division's not that hard on paper and compared to other divisions around the National Football League. You play 5 marquee opponents, 4 of them at home, 1 of them in London. You play a stretch of quarterbacks that include Burrow, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson. Great entertainment. 2 of those in prime time. You play 3 primetime games overall. You play 2 other games on an island in London. And when I say on an island, not the London island, I say an island 9:30 in the morning, meaning you're the only game that people are watching. I mean, you start adding that up, and it's like, wow, what a heck of a schedule. And it looks like it lays out. What can you complain about? Have you heard anybody complain about the Jags schedule yet?
No.
I haven't heard one person complain about, oh, my gosh, it's going to be really hot here. They go on the road here. I think the biggest complaint that you could have, and it's just the nature of doing business in London, again, which always comes back to get the Jags in some way, shape, or form. The Jags will play 2 games in London, October 1st and 8th. They come back because they chose not to play the bye week there. They'll play Indianapolis at home. Again, a team that's not like crazy good, but then they go short week to New Orleans right after that. So you're looking at a 4-game span on 2 different continents, 10 days in London, and then a short week to New Orleans. I think that could be a challenge. That could be, like, you might not even know it catches up to you until you hit the field on Thursday night in New Orleans. I think that would be a very tough game based on the previous 3 weeks for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But again, if that's all I can complain about, this schedule is awesome for the Jags.
Update on those numbers you were looking to repeat. You got for the whole season last year. They were more in line with what you were saying, 59.4%. So right on the cusp of 60-40 for the year. Their last 3, they passed 70% of the time, 69.49. The last game alone against the Chiefs, they passed 68%. At home, 61%. On the road, 58%. The year before, 2021, they actually ran more than they ran last year with Urban Meyer, 61.87% passing.
So interesting.
Yeah. That schedule looks nice, though. And based on all these things we're talking about in terms of for the fans, it's a great schedule. For the team, it's a favorable schedule. Having all the big behemoths in somewhat favorable conditions.
And kind of spread out.
Yeah.
You know? Like you just brought up a great point here. Okay, fans-wise, they love the schedule. Finally respect primetime games, all the big bopping quarterbacks at home you get to watch other than Josh Allen, and that's in a neutral site game, essentially.
That's great.
If you think about it from Doug's perspective, hey, listen, I mean, you don't want to play 10 days in London probably, but you also have the energy and excitement for your players to play in prime time. You have a decent start, a decent ending on paper that's gettable. If you need wins early to set the tone, need wins late. If you're going to catch Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, second week might be a good time to do it in the heat in Jacksonville. If you look at it from a marketing perspective for the Jags, whew, terrific. Like selling tickets this year, not a problem in Jacksonville. I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if it was. I'll even give you another element of this. Outside of London, they don't go anywhere. They go to New Orleans and Houston. They go to Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
I see what you're saying.
Like, they don't even go past the Mississippi.
Yeah, Seattle travels 31,000 miles this year.
And the Jags have done some of that in the past. Even their Christmas Eve game is right in Tampa. Like, can't even complain about that. So, again, this is an organization that has had some bad luck with the schedule, has had little respect from the National Football League at times, has had reason to complain. I've been complaining still for 5 years about them playing a Christmas Eve game in San Francisco. I thought that was ridiculous. Can't believe the NFL did that. So, but last year the Jags get really a heck of a break for all of us, and I think the team included. They go on a Thursday night to New York, and they get the whole Christmas week off on the heels of it. What a great break for the players and staff and everybody else. Like, they've actually had some good fortune with the schedule as of late, and I think this one sets up. I can't find one thing to complain about.
I was going to say, is there anything off the top of your head you would change if you could? I'm not sure that there is.
I mean, I guess the only thing you can complain about is give me that Tennessee game at home late, the last one of the year,
And then
like it
swap
was
with
this past season.
The earlier one. Yeah, the home game with Tennessee is on the 19th of November. Last game of the year on the 7th. They'll determine the time when they determine the time, I guess.
So I just think it's great. Let's get to Steven. He's checking in on the schedule here on Brent Friends on a Monday on ESPN 690. What's happening, man?
Hey, not too much. Before I ask my schedule question, come on, Aaron. He set that up. They always say they don't want to do anything. That's a trap.
I know. I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming, and I suffered, Steven.
Yes. I learned that a long time ago. That's BS. It's a trap.
Yeah.
They're testing.
Well, I know now.
But no, the main thing, I agree with you, Brent, wholeheartedly. The schedule is pretty good for us to come close to the one seed. I mean, NFC South, that's a terrible, terrible division. We are considered the best for our division. We only play 4 elite quarterbacks this year in Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, and Lamar. And, I mean, I love the schedule. I already got my ticket for the home opener, so I can't wait for this season.
Steven, you don't think Deshaun Watson's going to be a bit of a challenge in Cleveland?
Until he shows that he's back to his old form, I do not consider him a threat.
I guess that's fair.
Thanks, Steven. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know if I feel that. Listen, there's a couple of things that jump out to me when we talk schedule. And I asked Kasey this the other day, and you weren't in on Friday, but Kasey, it did work for him. I think Kasey was predicting 10 wins with the schedule before it came out. He had the Jags for 10. Over-under, remembers, like 10.5, so he had him at the under. When the schedule came out, he said, I could see 11, right?
Yeah, now I'm on 11.
And now you're on 11. And so that's kind of what happens. It's like I had him at about 11, and there are spots and times where I looked at that schedule, I'm like, oof, I could bump him to like 12 or maybe even more. Like,
now you're jinxing the thing.
No, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying it does change in your mind, like what it could be. But there are 2 caveats to that for me. Where it looks easy, it's never easy. The Jags lost to Houston, who's terrible, and they were trying to lose. The Jags, against Joshua Dobbs and a third-string QB in Tennessee, and he was named the quarterback like 10 days earlier, needed the scoop-and-score fumble at home in a very important game to win. The Jags throttled Indianapolis and then couldn't stop them the next time they played them. So, I mean, that's the nature of the NFL. Like, so when it looks easy, it's not easy. These games are going to be much more difficult than people think. Going 6-0 is very unlikely in the division. Going 5-1, while seems realistic, is going to be very difficult. But then there's the flip side of it. You go Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and all these great quarterbacks. It doesn't mean L's automatically. Like, I think the Jags are going to win some of those games.
Yeah.
Like, I really do. I think the way the NFL is, they're going to win some of those games. And by the way, we know that home schedule is part of the formula, to me, to get to the postseason. And 4 of those good teams are at home. You better win a couple of them. Like, you better beat 2 of Kansas City, San Fran, Baltimore, and Cincinnati.
Yeah, if you're a contender, you need to win some of those games. I think it's an interesting conversation, though, because every year it does happen that way, where you think someone's going to be bad and maybe they're not bad, or a division's going to be poor and they end up being good. I'm looking at the Jags 23 schedule, and I'm like, there are a few candidates here of teams that people are expecting to not play great, who I think could surprise some folks. For instance, it's entirely possible, after all the work they did this offseason, the additions they've made, Atlanta is better than we think they're going to be. Like, it's possible they're this year's Seattle.
That is a possibility.
Right? New Orleans.
Or last year's Jacksonville.
Last year's Jacksonville. New Orleans, another one of those teams, by the way. If they can get the quarterback situation all remedied and Mike Thomas actually plays this year, New Orleans could be a pretty decent team. So Cleveland obviously is a big question mark depending on Deshaun Watson, but they've got a good roster around him. I think there are some difficult games on here that we're not looking as difficult yet. So when I hear numbers like 12, I start to give myself a little bit of pause, but I think they're capable of living in that neighborhood.
Well, that will transition nicely to an article you found. Over under 9.5, it says, for Jackson.
Yeah, this is from ESPN's betting analysts department. They're doing consensus over under and betting lines.
This person says, on one hand, Jags exceeded expectations. Their core remains intact. On the other hand, I'm concerned that Jacksonville is overhyped with a win total this high, given it has won more than 9 games only once over the past 15 years. The trend hurts the Jags, and betting is a big trend thing.
Absolutely.
And so it's hard to get here, and I get that. More pros and cons for the Jags, but I'm not willing to bet the over or under on the win total. Way to stay on the fence, Aaron Dolan.
It's funny because Aaron sounds like nearly every rational Jags fan I've met.
At 9.5, I'd take the over in a heartbeat.
I think a lot of people
would.
would.
At 10.5, I think it was questionable.
But doesn't it sound like Jags fan when you go, look, it's only happened once in the last 15 years. There are more pros than cons, but we've seen this TV show before.
That's fair. I think that's a fair curiosity.
Are you guys shocked the Titans have the highest over-under outside of the Jaguars in the South?
Little surprise on the Colts Titans, but I would say this. I think this is the coach QB combo. The bottom line is Ryan Tannehill, I don't think is anybody's future quarterback anymore. But he's still played a lot of good football and won games.
I mean, even last year.
And he's not like, he doesn't feel Matt Ryan aging. It's about to go downhill.
We may see it this year, but you're
could,
right.
But I don't feel like that.
You're right.
And the other part of it is Vrabel knows how to win. Vrabel gets the most out of his football team. Vrabel will get more than expected out of the football team. So I don't feel that way with the Colts. They underachieve. They've got a new coach. They don't even know who the quarterback is. And if they do play Anthony Richardson, growing pains are expected. So I guess it makes some sense.
I got a Vrabel take for you. You told us to mark a take about the Chiefs and the Jags, so I got one I'm going to want to mark down here. Vrabel out at the end of the year as Titans head coach, leaving for Ohio State. That's my call. When Ohio State,
Ryan Day going to Tennessee?
When Ohio State loses to Michigan this year, Ryan Day will be out, and then Vrabel will be in.
All right.
That's my call.
Question about Vrabel and like ever going to college is, does he want to deal with all that?
Don't know. But I think Ohio State is the place he'd go.
Oh, I agree with that. That makes some sense. So 7.5 for Tennessee.
The Titans, you got to take the under on that, right? How do you take the over on that?
Remember now, there are 17 games in the season.
Under is minus 135 right now.
Over 6.5 for
Colts?
the Colts.
I would take the under there. Bet in the under, just like Kasey likes.
It's hard to win football games.
Yeah, especially with
NFL.
New coaches and rookie quarterbacks. And then on the for the rest of the league, I did think there were some interesting over-under lines here that maybe if you're looking to earn a few units, Case, you might be interested in taking here.
Oh, boy.
How about the Pats? Over-under 7.5 seems like an easy one, right? Are the Pats winning 8 games in the East?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Hard under.
The Browns, over-under 8.5. I mean, I just got finished saying they could be a good team, but they're in the North with the Bengals, Ravens, and Steelers. So I would take the under there, too. Brent, what about the Broncos over-under at 8.5?
That's a heck of a bump for...
like, you need Russell Wilson to get back to 3 years ago playing style, right?
Yeah, it's too good of a division. I would take the under, but I think they can get to 8.
How about the Commanders? Over-under 7.5. They're basically tanking for Caleb, and they're giving him 7.5.
I'd take the under.
Of course. Then you got the Vikings. I thought they were besmirching Kirk Cousins and Jay Jettas. They got the Vikings at 8.5. Now, granted, lots of changes have impacted this team.
Yeah,
they lost
maybe
Thielen,
more coming.
Maybe more coming with Dalvin Cook. They just lost Zadarius Smith, and I believe the other linebacker was Anthony Barr.
Yeah.
There's talk there that they're starting to break this thing down, but they did draft a whole Jordan Addison, so 8.5 seems low for the Vikings.
I would take the over, especially in an NFC that's just okay.
All right, so what about the South? We play these teams this year. The Falcons over-under at 8. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought they only do halves.
Push is possible.
Okay. I'd still take, over or under on the Falcons?
I'm taking under until they prove it.
At 8?
I would love to see the number, yeah, like the betting number.
Yeah, but you like the quarterback. I
like the team. The division
in
sucks.
that division, yeah. I mean, you're playing the Bucks twice.
All it means
playing
when
the
the
Panthers
division
twice.
sucks is that they can beat each other up.
You really need 7.5 there to go over.
I think so, too, yeah. All right, and then finally, the Rams. The Rams, they have it 7.5.
Under.
No way.
You could cut that in half and still take the under.
Possibly.
Holy smokes. Who's taking that action? Show me.
I'm going to give you the most fun bet of the year. All right? 135 to 1 odds.
Wow. Kasey will be able to spell altruistic.
This would put the NFL on its head. The Lions and the Jaguars in the Super Bowl.
What's the odds of 135 to 1?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
I mean,
you take that on a whim? $100, $50, $10.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's interesting to watch the Jags odds. Like, why would the Jags odds be against Detroit that, and let's just say the Jags odds against Seattle are 315 to 1. 135 to 1 for Detroit, but Seattle, who made the playoffs, 315 to 1.
Is that just hype? Is that all that is?
Isn't that odd?
That's weird.
That's really weird to me. If you really want to go out on a limb, you like Atlanta this much, Kasey? 435 to 1 against the Jags. And you could
Be
get
in the Super Bowl? What?
Yeah, for a Super Bowl matchup.
No, I don't like them that much. I think they might win 8 times. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl.
The best odds, by the way, Philadelphia versus the Jags, 62 to 1.
I still take that.
So nobody believes the Jags are going to the Super Bowl.
Pick up some nice units.
Great storyline, though, right? Eagles, Jags, Peterson. Terrific.
It'd be amazing.
If the NFL really is scripted.
That was, you guys probably already covered it with all the schedule release videos, but if I see another schedule release video talking about scripts, I'm going to be like, all right, guys, maybe you all need to get together and talk about what ideas you're going with so everyone doesn't do the same thing.
Yeah. I didn't see a lot of the other ones.
Oh, okay. There were, by my count, I saw at least 5 or 6 of them talking about the script.
I wonder if maybe I'll ask. I wonder if they give you like 5 themes.
Oh, interesting. So you got to play within the lines.
Well, yeah, there was a couple years ago. Do you guys remember they had the baby one? Everybody was doing one around.
I don't really remember that.
Yeah, it was like babies was the theme.
Now, I haven't seen anyone as cool as Asher Grodman in any of these other videos, so I still think the Jags one won.
I did a great job. But we continue to talk about this, and I guess the Titans one got like 3 million views, and the Jags like a million.
Yeah.
But like we said, you can like the Jags better, that's fine. But both got the job done. They were both effective, and they were both done 2 totally different ways, which is, I think, you can appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. I think when it comes to those things, wins equal nothing that really mattered to the business.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the, it's not the Oscars or
the Emmys.
No, maybe it is Oscars.
The Tonys.
Like, you never know the movie that even exists that one. Like,
oh, Best Picture is always some weird movie you've never seen.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's done in some like different way. Yeah. That's like, oh, that's cool, and they factored that in.
Yeah, like artsy folks can pretend they're smarter than they are by liking it. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what we do in broadcasting. Same
Fair
thing.
enough. Yeah.
We'll be back. We play a game. Make or break.
Yeah, man.
Next on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly sunny and hot for your Monday with daytime highs up to 90 in Jacksonville. We'll be in the mid-80s at the coast. It'll be partly cloudy overnight tonight and mild with morning temperatures down in the 60s early Tuesday. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, proud to offer a huge selection of both lab-grown and natural diamonds at the lowest prices guaranteed.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Connecticut K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Ready for a helpful tip? If you've got to drive it, rent it with Rent a Toyota at Arlington Toyota. Whether it's a car for a business trip, an SUV for an outdoor adventure, or a spacious minivan for that family vacation with all the stuff. If you've got to drive it, rent it with Rent a Toyota at Arlington Toyota. Rent a Toyota at Arlington is the best way to try it before you buy it. You can even rent 2023 models. And Arlington's competitive rental rates will put you behind the wheel with ease. Reserve your rental online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
My name is Jillian. I'm a business development consultant here at Cox Media Group in Jacksonville, Florida. I graduated college almost a year ago and never thought I'd already have a career in sales that has given me the best postgraduate job experience. CMG has given me the opportunities to grow my creativity and allow me to be myself in every way possible when helping other businesses grow. Do you want to get a head start right out of college like I did? Then join us next Wednesday for an open house 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Email us at jacksjobs@cmg.com for more info. That's next Wednesday, May 24th, CMG Open House from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
Why can't I just speak to an actual human being? I need a new bank.
Well, actually, at One-to-One Financial, communication is not only number one, it's one-to-one. When you call, you get to talk to a real live Jacksonville human, fast and with someone who's truly concerned about your needs, your security, and finding solutions as a team.
Thank you.
Ready to break up with your bank? Find a real long-term banking relationship at One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Visit one-to-onefcu.org for more information on opening an account today.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey, girl, I haven't seen you in a while.
I know. My shoulder pain has been terrible lately.
Sounds like you need to call Integrity Spine and Orthopedics in Jacksonville. Their brand new facility is incredible. It feels like you're at a spa. Best of all, their top-rated doctors really listen to you and create your own personalized plan.
Nice. I'm calling Integrity right now.
Integrity, where you matter most. Schedule your appointment today at integritymattersmost.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Get top deals on everything you need to freshen up your yard, like the Cobalt 24-volt string trimmer and leaf blower combo kit, only at Lowe's. Was $199, now just $149. Plus, get your lawn in shape with up to $15 off select Scott's Easy Seed Lawn Repair Mixes. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Scott's offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope everybody is good. Final weeks of school for you high schoolers, college guys and gals already out. Summer is here, baby. It's hot, too. Heating up. 3 shirt days are going to be back. Unless, Aaron, you live life like him and just never leave indoors.
Oh, I thought you meant live life like me and sweat through all of your shirts, no matter how many you bring.
Inside.
I'm just built different, guys. With big sweat glands.
Brent Martineau, Kasey, Kuhrts, Aaron Schachter. All right, you brought a new game to the table, apparently.
Yeah, I did. It's called Make or Break. It's based off of a piece I read this morning about some of these guys who are in make or break years. They gave me 3 examples. I really only liked one of them. And so I decided to come to the table with my own and then bounce them off you guys. You guys tell me which one of these make or break guys is going to make it. Which one of these make or break guys are going to break it. Case, let me get some music here, please. Thank you. Little throwback, 2000s era Lincoln Park, one step closer, because I'm about to break, Brent.
I like it. I like it.
Let's start it off with the guy taking over for Old Man Rogers. Make or break year for Jordan Love. Do you think this year, with the cast he's got surrounding him and the team he's got, who he's working for, do you think Jordan Love makes it as an NFL quarterback, or does he break that dream into pieces?
Oh, this is a really hard one to figure out. Really, really hard. I don't know if they're great around him to begin with. And I just feel like they've mishandled Jordan Love in the quarterback situation for so long. But remember, we felt a little bit like this when Aaron Rodgers was taking over for Brett Favre, and he worked out to be great.
That is very accurate.
I think the bet here is break. Because it's already hard enough to make it as a quarterback.
You're with Brent. Make it or break it on Jordan Love. Is he getting it done this year?
I mean, he still was a first-round pick.
That's true.
So, like, it's not like he's not a talented guy. They picked him in the first round for a reason. I'll go break. I'll go make, sorry. I don't know if it'll make it with the Packers, but I think someone will give him another opportunity after what he does this year. I don't think they're going to be awful. I think he'll put up numbers willing for a team to go, you know what, if we miss out on Drake May, Caleb Williams, yeah, we'll take a shot.
Interesting. Okay. Next one we'll go to is a guy I wanted under center for the New York Jets at one point this offseason. We're talking about Baker Mayfield having a Baker make it or Baker break it season. Baker Mayfield playing for anybody?
Bucs.
The Bucs, that's right. In front of Kyle Trask as of today. Surrounded by talent. Yeah, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I think Russell Gage is still on that team. Decent defense. They kept a lot of these guys who were supposed to go away. They did break down a bit of that offensive line, though. Running game's looking a little shoddy. Do you think Baker Mayfield with the Bucs makes it or breaks it?
Yeah, I've been more of a fan of Baker Mayfield over the years than others have. I think he's okay. My problem is less with Mayfield and more, I think, with the infrastructure that exists in the coaching staff and everything else. I think they're going to break it, and therefore this will be last chance you for Baker Mayfield.
Interesting. Now, Kasey, you got Todd Bowles getting his master's degree. Brent says he's focusing too much on being a student.
Yeah, screw the education.
Good for him, by the way. Shout out to Todd Bowles.
Shout out Todd Bowles.
I'm going to go break it because he doesn't win the job in training camp.
You're just such a Kyle Trask homer that you can't give Baker any credit here?
Go watch the video the Bucs put out from training camp, the first one they put out.
Oh, no.
Guess who was working with the ones? It was Kyle Trask.
Okay.
You never actually see Baker Mayfield throw it to somebody because he was working with the twos. You see Trask throwing it to, I believe it's Evans and Godwin. Or Russell Gage and Evans. So he doesn't win the job. It's break it. Kyle Trask is their starter.
Sleep on Johnny Wolford.
You guys are both so wrong on Baker Mayfield. Jeez. All right. How about DeAndre Hopkins? Here's a guy who was recently, like 2 years ago, considered maybe one of the top 3 receivers in the entire league. Now he's about to get paid, $19 million plus on a team that everyone is picking to come in last place and have a woefully bad offense. If DeAndre Hopkins doesn't have a good season and he puts in his 3rd lackluster season, he's not getting paid this offseason. Is this the break it or make it year for DeAndre Hopkins?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'll go make it. He's just too good. I think the suspension, everything else, the quarterback stuff, there's just been a lot of stuff, a lot of mud to get through. I think Hopkins is still a really good player, and I think they'll find it. Now, they got to figure out the quarterback spot.
Desperately.
Listen, Kyler Murray might not even start the year.
No, he's probably not. They're looking at him towards the middle of the year, yeah.
So there's still a lot to navigate, but who else are you throwing it to? Like, he's going to get a lot of touches, so I'll say make it.
Kasey, DeAndre's been on some bad teams in the past. Hasn't necessarily stopped him from putting up numbers. Do you think he's able to do it this year? Will he play his first full season in the last 3 years?
He won't, and I'm going to say break it because even when Kyler comes back, I don't trust Kyler. I think it's just a disaster waiting to happen. He'll leave Arizona, and then he'll be good again, but he won't get the big deal. Someone will pay him because he's DeAndre Hopkins, but it won't be a fun year for Arizona or DeAndre Hopkins.
All right. Let's move on to a wide receiver. Been a bit controversial over the last couple of years. A lot of money they invested in this guy, and then he disappeared onto the injury list for consecutive seasons. Mike Thomas on the Saints is reportedly on track to be ready for the beginning of the season. Do you think Mike Thomas is a factor this year? Does he make it, or does he get hurt and break it again?
I kind of like Mike Thomas with Derek Carr for a little resurgence. And by the way, it doesn't take much to resurge for Mike Thomas. He's done nothing. Like nothing. So I'm going to say make it. I think he's a talented guy. He's been kind of a fragile guy, but if he can stay healthy, I think he's a good player, and I think he'll become a target for Derek Carr.
Kasey, another one of these Ohio State wide receivers who got off to a really hot start. Unfortunately, injuries really slowed him down. Do you think Mike Thomas comes all the way back and has a make-it season or no?
Yeah, why not? Mike Thomas, I'm in. Might as well be. I don't know. I don't really have any solid reasoning because all the reasoning says he's not going to play football because he'll get hurt again. Something will happen. But I guess I'm going towards it. If he does play, the Saints will be pretty good with him and Olave. So I'll go make it. Why not?
So just before we move on to this last player on make it or break it, just want to remind you, we're talking about the Saints here who play the Jaguars. We were talking about some of these teams who might be better than we think. A healthy Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Mike Thomas. You got a brand new quarterback in Derek Carr, a decent defense. Like, that may be a pretty good team. Last player I want to bring up here is one near and dear to us. How about Josh Allen? Not the quarterback, the linebacker, the Jaguar. Josh Allen in a make it or break it season, looking to get a big money deal. If he puts it another year like last year, you could expect the Jaguars to be some heavy-handed negotiators. But if he comes in and lights it up, it's a make it season for Josh Allen. Does Josh Allen make it or break it?
I wonder what making it and breaking it look like in this context. I'm going to say make it. I think Josh Allen's a good player.
I would call making it double digit, like 10 sacks.
Yeah, I think he's a good player. I think everybody around him will get a little bit better. I think they've really invested and they're confident in the middle of that defense. I think they'll find ways to get him a little more freed up. I think Trayvon will help that, maybe even rushing Devin Lloyd a little bit. So I think all those different components. Year two, a guy like Josh Allen should blossom even a bit more. And by the way, I think he was so close to making it big last year. He had a lot of good plays, a lot of good moments. I think he's right there. Can he get that extra half step? Can he get home? And he might have a monster season for the Jags. So I'm saying make it for my guy, Josh Allen.
Kasey, finish us off, man. Josh Allen, I know in the past you've been a fan of trying to find a solution there without writing out this contract. Do you think he puts it together this year for a monster year where he gets the monster deal, or do you think it's more of the same?
I think it's better, but I don't think it's monster.
What's that look like to you then?
8 sacks.
So metrics-wise, he gets a little more of the numbers.
There's a bump, but I think you're still in a situation where you don't know what to do, which is why I'll say break it, and then I think he will go elsewhere.
Interesting.
What's fascinating about the Josh Allen conversation is, let me just go check out his career numbers real quick. So he's got, where are we on the sacks? 27.5 sacks.
Career. Seems, I mean, that's obviously accurate, you're reading, but it just feels low for what you think of Josh Allen, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it's basically 3.5 years. He missed his second season, he missed half the year. His first year, obviously, he had 10.5. He had 7.5 and then 7 in the last couple of years. And people don't think that was good. But, I mean, we've talked many a times that once you get to that 8-sack threshold, like you're in a different kind of category. And he was close. He obviously wasn't there. So he's got to get there and beyond. But let's just say he has 10 sacks. What do you want to say, 10 to make it or 11? Let's just say 11.
If you have 10 sacks, that's a great season.
Yeah, let's say 11 just for fun of it.
Okay.
So 38.5 sacks in his 5 years. You know, that would be where the Jags would have to be really careful of here, in my opinion, is they would have some homegrown talent where guys are amongst their franchise leaders in the history of the organization in sacks. Yannick Ngakoue was this way. When they let him walk, he was like second or third, I think it was. Or maybe, I can't remember where Calais was in that conversation. And Josh has been he's done some stuff that young guys through their first early years haven't done. So, like, the metrics start adding up, and then you're like, okay, see you later, right? Would the Jags be forced to re-sign him in some capacity? Would they use a franchise tag on him if they had to go that route? Do they have the dollars to do it? Because Trevor's contract could be so big. Could he be a casualty because of that? We've seen the cap. You've been able to maneuver it and finagle it and do all these different things. It'll be interesting to watch. My point being is he could have a big year. He could have a make-it year and not necessarily be a part of it going forward in Jacksonville, I think.
It's an interesting dynamic, but it gets me thinking about the future of salary cap and salaries on the teams. It's almost more beneficial to have big-time guys with big contracts on the team so you have flexibility in the restructure versus these short-term guys, these 1 and 2 year contracts for low money. There's not much restructuring there. So it's obviously optimal for a team to have like a quarterback on a rookie contract because then you go out and spend on some position skill players. But if you have a Josh Allen that you're going to now have to pay, hypothetically, $15 million a year over the course of 5 years. So are we talking $60 million over the contract? Well, now you have a contract that you can find $30 million on a restructure with, depending on how you break out bonuses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I wonder what the value is to a franchise of the bigger deals above and beyond their financial value.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think there's a lot of math that goes on. I think in those front office is planning that stuff.
I wonder if it moves the goalpost on who earns the contracts.
You mean which player? Like how expensive the contract is.
Like what was the point the Jaguars need to get to award the big contract or not?
That's a good call. And we don't know what that is. See, that's why I put that out. It's like, okay, if he has 11 sacks, it's going to feel like a really good year. I mean, last year he had a heck of a year. He had 7 sacks. He had 4 forced fumbles. He had 2 fumble recoveries. He had 9.5 stuffs. Didn't even know that was a stat. But it's a new. He had 8.5 2 years ago and 9.5 this year.
What's a stuff?
I'm assuming it's a run stuff.
So like getting somebody at the line or behind the line?
I guess, yeah. I don't know why they wouldn't call it a tackle. It's got to be different than tackle for loss. They don't put that on the metric.
Right.
So that's interesting. But anyway, and we know he had a ton of pressures and hurries and all that stuff. So, and then even in the postseason with the touchdown, the big play, like that's not even counted in there. So, I mean, he's on the verge, man. I think it's going to be a make-it year for Josh Allen, and I think he might take that all the way to the bank here in Jacksonville. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts, Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Don't forget to check out ESPN690.com, our contest page. Win money, win tickets, ESPN690.com.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Have you seen your financial freedom wiped out by stock market volatility? It's Rich Jones. Consider investing in real estate funds from DLP Capital. Don Wenner is CEO and founder.
DLP Capital has provided our investors with consistent double-digit returns by investing in cash-flowing residential real estate. For more than a decade, we have had 0 losses, little volatility, and have shot above our return targets in all of our investment funds. Plus, we offer monthly distributions and tax shelter opportunities.
To get your investor's guide and learn more, dial **invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
This is a busy time of year for families, especially if you have teenagers, kids getting their license, kids going off to college, and someone probably needs a new car, and that's why you go to Nimnick Buick GMC, #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Looking for the perfect truck or SUV? Nimnick Buick GMC has more models on the ground than they've had in over 2 years. Looking for a used car under $18,000? Nimnick has a great selection of over 300 used cars, trucks, and SUVs to choose from. Visit the showroom off Phillips Highway or shop NimnickBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Having someone to talk to can change a life.
Cried out to her, she listened to me, she talked me through my depression.
Or even save a life.
I probably wouldn't be here at all, not only in this room, but just not here at all, if I didn't have the help.
If you need someone to talk to, the LJD Jewish Family and Community Services is here with in-person trained counselors or through teletherapy. JFCS is here for Jax. Visit jfcsjax.org.
Hey y'all, this is 17-time PGA Tour winner Jim Furyk inviting you to the 3rd annual Constellation Furyk and Friends presented by Circle K this October 2nd to 8th at Timuquana Country Club. Be sure to check out college football and your Jaguars on the Jumbotrons and the Publix Tailgate Village, Birdie Beers at Circle K Party Porch, the ViStar Patriots Outpost, and more. Grab your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com to see the legends of the game compete for a spot in the PGA Tour Champions playoffs. Don't forget Ticketmaster.com to get your tickets today.
We have bigger rolls of carpet, hardwood too, laminates, hot area rugs for you. At the Carpet Man, at the Carpet Man.
Our prices are low, 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 low.
At the Carpet Man, at the Carpet Man.
Don't delay, we'll put it in next day.
At the Carpet Man, at the Carpet Man. Y'all don't see us now, you hear? At the Carpet Man, at the Carpet Man.
Visit one of our mega flooring stores or go to carpetman.biz or
call 838-6705. The Carpet Man.
As parents, we all want to ensure that our children are safe, secure, and healthy starting day one. Please make sure your newborn is sleeping safely. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com/safe sleep for infant safety tips. That's wolfsonchildrens.com/safe sleep.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day. And they're fun, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
And now try Babbel free. Text radio to 64,000. Text radio to 64,000.
O'Reilly. Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery needs to be replaced, our professional parts people can help you find the best Superstart battery for your vehicle and budget. Don't wait. Get your battery tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At Lowe's, we're always bringing pros more ways to save. Right now, get a Flex 24-volt half-inch drill driver kit for only $99. Was $179. That's a savings of $80. Plus, you'll always save big on job lot quantities when buying select building supplies in bulk. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid from 3/20 to 7/20 while supplies last. U.S. only. Lowe's reserves the right to limit quantities. Discount taken at time of purchase.
Digital marketing, well, my intern handles the social media, my brother-in-law does my search, and my receptionist sends out email blasts. All done.
Your digital marketing may get done, but is it doing anything? No? Then let CMG Local Solutions help. At CMG Local Solutions, we combine the best-in-class technology and analytics to maximize your digital dollars while targeting local customers for your business. So your digital marketing doesn't just get done, it gets results. Learn more about how we can help you at cmglocalsolutions.com.
You've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You have to carefully monitor your health for the rest of your life. And you have an increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease.
Cut. Take 2. Action.
You've been diagnosed with a new purpose, to fight for the amazing life you made for yourself. To look that risk of heart disease square in the face and say, no, not me. You've been given a new opportunity to live. Get started at NoDiabetesByHeart.org.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. All right, I got to give a shout out to the St. Louis Cardinals.
For what?
Because they swept the Red Sox.
Oh.
So I said the only way I'll mention the Cardinals if they sweep. There you go, Sean Dahl. That's for him. I gave him the middle finger emoji a couple times this week.
You see, Zach Greinke is, what is he, struck out 1,000 different MLBers?
Yeah. So
that's pretty impressive.
Did you see the pitch he struck him out on?
Yeah.
It's like
ball up high.
It's definitely not a strike. So then we get into about the Rays game. Was it the Rays? Yeah, it was the Rays. Kasey, you saw that one? The strike 3 on, who was it?
I didn't see it.
Margot?
Yeah, I forget who it
against
was.
the Yankees. And so we were talking about some other umpires that we obviously know, still talking today, and about the positioning. Well, it turns out and one of the umps just shared it with us before, and somebody else had on Twitter anyway. The box was off on that one.
The TV's Cairo box.
I mean, it's definitely off.
Huh.
So it looks way worse.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much we trust the box. That's why you can't trust those damn robo-umps, see?
Well, the robo-ump isn't the same as like a television station's box.
Well, the technology is going to be similar in some way, shape, or form, I would think.
They'll probably have
what
some
if the
sensors
box
in
is
the
not
dirt?
aligned?
All right. You do have to calibrate that stuff, I imagine, yeah.
How about your Rays? They score like 3,000 runs in them. Can hardly get a split.
Yep.
Oh, that's deep analysis from Kasey Kuhrts.
Deep stuff.
They're fine. They're 31-11.
They
or
are.
something.
They've already clinched a playoff berth.
Yeah, who cares what happens against the Yankees?
Did you like Bryce? Did you like Bryce Harper getting feisty?
So this is my thing, man.
Yeah, but you hate Bryce Harper because he's a Philly.
All right, fine. But I've never seen a baseball fight where the guys fighting wanted to fight.
No,
it's so rare.
Never happens.
With the
I
exception,
call it fake tough guys.
Yes, with the exception of Nolan Ryan beating the crap out of one of my favorite players of all time.
It does happen, but not enough.
Dude, Bryce Harper looks over at the dugout like some tough guy, puffs out his chest, and then quickly looks behind him for his teammates going, you coming or what?
Baseball guys are so soft.
You guys coming?
Like, listen, I was a baseball guy. I'm saying it from firsthand experience. But baseball guys don't want to fight. They just want to yap. That's it. They never want to fight.
Nope.
I think Bryce Harper did this to get, hey, like, I'm back, boys, and it's time to go on a run around here. I don't think this had anything to do with Colorado.
You think he's just trying to fire up the team?
I do. I think that's what it was. Let's watch what Philly does after this. Let's see what their record is for the next few weeks.
Hopefully they fall
see if
apart.
It helps.
Okay.
Football at 5 coming up next on ESPN 690.
He's a former coach with 2 sons who played professional basketball. Satch Sullinger's a competitive individual, but his golf game was suffering because of painful joints.
Right, that's real important. The golf game. Right. As we get older, we create these bad habits because we're relegated to hit a certain way.
QC Kinetics used regenerative treatments, all natural healing properties from Satch's own body, to restore those damaged joints and get his golf game back on track.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me, all natural. And that's what I'm about. I'm going to tell everybody why I'm better.
Oh, and by the way, looks like the competitive Satch is back.
We're all in the same boat, and I'm getting better, and I'm watching them stay old.
Go to QCkinetics.com. Get relief and your game back. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
The only thing better than a day at Jack's Beaches is driving there in a new ride. And now's the time, because it's the Summer Starts Here sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. That's over 350 premium pre-owned on the lot. All makes, all models, certified pre-owned. You name it, Arlington's got it. You even get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it for one you do. But this sale won't last long, so don't wait. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau. Check out Action Sports Jacks weekdays from 3 until 6 on ESPN 690.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Quarterback Dylan Raiola, the number one prospect in the 2024 recruiting class, told ESPN he's committed to Georgia. He's the son of former NFL offensive lineman Dominic Raiola. The NBA still gathering more information on a social media post from over the weekend showing Grizzlies star Ja Morant holding a gun. The Grizzlies yesterday suspended him from all team activities. Morant 2 months ago was suspended by the league for 8 games over a similar incident. Some advice for Morant from ESPN NBA analyst Kendrick Perkins.
We're talking about 25 games or a year suspension. He better be careful if he's not out the league. Because no organization is going to continue to deal with this. The NBA is not going to continue to deal with this. And you know what they say, 3 strikes you out. And I don't see him change at all.
Big Perk on First Take. Stanley Cup playoffs, the Stars hosting their first Game 7 at home since 2016. A heavy favorite versus the Kraken tonight in the winner-take-all matchup. 8 Eastern, ESPN TV. The Golden Knights await the winner in the Western Conference Final.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Now, your chance to win $1,000 as ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. Sponsored by the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp.
Enter the word purse at ESPN690.com. That's PURSE. 5:15 past the hour.
Your next chance to win $1,000 and have ESPN 690 pay your bills happens tomorrow morning at 8.
This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jacks presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year 2 pom-pom people.
Kasey Kuhrts.
Yo! Well, what are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship.
Get him! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Hit him! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom!
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Kasey Kuhrts, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Football 5 we go here on a Monday. What are we going to talk about all week? OTAs, by the way, a week from today. Last week was crazy.
That's it? A week from today?
Yeah.
Wow.
You see Gene Fournette's article on the stadium?
Yeah.
You're laughing.
I'm laughing at you
because
going after Gene over Live Golf, but that's something else.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
But Gene was like live tweeting Live Golf yesterday.
He gets so mad. That's why I printed out this
I was
John
more
Daly
mad at
story.
Fournette. I was like, Fournette, why are you going to drop that article on Saturday, dude? We do a show on Monday through Friday.
Kasey,
I know we've already forgotten about the article. That's the way the world works.
Not to keep derailing Brent. I know you saw his Fournette Live Golf tweet, right?
I actually didn't.
No?
No.
He went after the hell? Will you pay attention?
He went after Gene just for appreciating the sport of golf. He's like, why do you work for them? It's like, why can't the man just watch Live Golf?
I mean, seriously, you want to count how many times? We love Gene Fournette, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you all do, but
I like Gene.
So I'm going to look up, Kasey. You weren't watching your Live Golf faithful yesterday? Did you see that course, by the way? It was beat up.
Okay.
Bad course. And did you also see that CW like around the country? At 6:30 bailed on like the end.
Oh, that's not a good look.
For recorded programming.
Where did they go? Yeah.
I forget what somebody said the name of the show was, but it was something like I hadn't even heard of.
Doing live golf favors just by putting them on TV. There's no contract in place.
So anyway, Gene, let's see. Maybe he didn't tweet as much as I thought, but he did a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them like in a short span. So I eventually said, is Liv paying you to watch this?
Because if they were, you'd be getting like $3 million a tweet, by the way.
I was going to say, I wanted to be careful with that too, but it'd be worth it. They can pay me. I'll change.
I bet you would.
I'm just
kidding. Like, I always thought Phil Mickelson was great.
Yeah, Phil. Hey, he finished 47th out of 48 today. So what? Phil's still great for the people. He signed after. Mickelson, who finished like top 10 at the Masters, now can't like
buy a win or close to it.
Win. He can't finish outside the bottom 3 of Liv.
Yeah. Saved all the good stuff
Is
for the
Liv Golf
Masters.
going to make it, Kasey? What's the latest?
Yeah, they'll be all right.
It does feel like the heat has kind of subsided a bit. Once all the rivalry fighting stopped, all the attention kind of went away.
I think what happened, I think we made it through Augusta. You know, with it not being like as crazy, even with Brooks Koepka being in the mix and stuff. And at least it worked out this time around that Koepka didn't win. And Mickelson played well. So, I mean, Liv had a decent showing.
Yeah.
Speaking of, John Daly is withdrawn from the PGA Championship.
Oh, no.
Is he a good grapher, Case? Or is he
how
good
is
when
he?
you graph him?
I've actually never tried.
He seems like a people's person.
What do I need John Daly on?
Why? You want me to say that about half the guys you go to Atlanta and Miami and everywhere else for?
Sitting at the airport for the 3rd supporting actor in a new TV show.
Right. They sell. I mean, you know, I go for people that sell. And then golf.
All you got to do is go to an area Hooters and you can get John Daly.
This dude comes back from the airport Monday. He's like, did you see I got this broom signed by the janitor? I was like, cool, man.
I actually never have said that.
All right, Case, it's
That
a
would be
joke.
cool.
It's not like a documentary.
And to be honest, anytime I go and post something on my Instagram, Aaron's always like, oh, so I saw you got this. You seem a little bit more obsessed with it than like anybody.
I'm just trying to mine for content, Case. Don't worry about it. I'm just trying to find out the details so I can expose it on the air.
I saw you got Charlie Hunnam. Is that who that was? Really? How was he?
Is LA
That was a good impression.
Is LA the most star-studded airport that exists?
Like that most celebrities are in at a time?
Yeah, like versus
it's LA.
New York or Heathrow or something like that, yeah.
I mean, maybe it's Heathrow, but it's LA in the United States, yeah.
It is.
It's a garbage airport, though. Holy cow.
Makes sense.
Garbage.
It is a garbage airport?
Yeah, it's garbage. We were there.
I know. That was one of my favorite things. When
We sat there for hours and hours on delay. You remember that?
Yeah, it was late at night, right?
It was the next day morning. That
Yeah.
was awful.
It was. That was a bad. You're right. That part when they were doing construction
that
there,
sucked, didn't it,
wasn't-
Brent?
It wasn't
that
good.
was awful.
Uh,
Stupid LAX.
Didn't the Jags get like boat race that day too?
They got killed by like 50.
Yeah. So that was my favorite part of going. Like Kasey went out on that trip, and he's like, he said, "Well, let me see what time stars are coming into the." And I'm like, "What? Like you're gonna do what? Like we got to do."
I love these guys' priorities, though, right?
But it was something like that. It's like, I was like, you know,
I was
like who?
yeah.
Then of course you could name like 5 people. I'd be like, who's that?
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Day, who?
No.
Football at 5. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. I have a problem with somebody's Twitter today.
Yeah, this is a Brent Martineau trigger alert.
It is.
Yeah, that's where we start tweets, actually.
Let's do that.
We start with Rich Cimini, who's got a screen cap here of my guy Quinnen Williams' Twitter bio. Here's Cimini's tweet. Quinnen Williams' Twitter bio no longer says Jets, presumably a commentary on the state of his contract negotiation. The Twitter bio now says defensive tackle for ... So, Brent, you hate this kind of stuff.
I just think I don't know if I hate it. Yeah, I do hate it.
Yeah, you hate it.
He'll certainly get a contract now that he has changed his social media. I tweeted this today, and I don't know any other way to say it. It fascinates me that these guys who play one of the most violent games, they're 300-pound guys, and they turn to this in negotiations or when they're unhappy with stuff. I mean, this is 7th grade teenager stuff to me. Changing the pettiness of changing your social media.
Or
so what does it say again?
defensive tackle for ...
So basically, I'm not a Jet right now. By the way, we've done this before many a times. Kyler Murray seems like the most recent guy to do it, and then he must have put everything back on.
Debo did it last
Lamar
year.
ever do it?
Lamar, he was Instagram storying stuff about the Ravens. I don't know that he scrubbed it his account, though.
And I just think it's so dumb. Like, that's where we're at. Like, when people say, I'm not a big, like, hey, this millennials or this or that, but I mean, it's a weird thing to be. Why is that so important? I don't even know how much Quinnen Williams tweets. A lot of these guys don't tweet a lot.
I don't really think he does. I'd have to check his Twitter, but I don't think he's known for his Twitter account. But, Case, what's the alternative here? Just tweeting, hey, fans, I need your help, put pressure on the team?
There is no alternative. You just go to work and you say, hey, I'm unhappy. Like, you just don't do it on social media. You just do, like, your real life thing.
I got no problem with it. I mean, if it's the official communication channel for the player to the fans, why not?
Yeah, I don't mind it, by the way. I'm fine with it. Brent's the only one with the problem with it because he's a boomer.
I just think it's stupid. You know what? There are things that bother me sometimes about the violent nature. Again, if this was a baseball guy, I could see it. He pretends to be fake.
I actually have something else that's going to bother you.
You know? Oh. But I always say, you know, one thing that bothers me about the NFL is when there's, again, we're talking about a violent sport, right? That these guys do take big hits and deliver big hits. And then you'll get a tight end or even a quarterback or a receiver, and he'll step out of bounds. Like, as he's stepping out of bounds, he gets a little shove from the defender.
Yeah.
And he'll be like all up in arms about a late hit. I'm like, he just tapped you. I don't care if he tapped you a foot out of bounds. He tapped you. Like, it's not like he sent you into the first row. That's a different story.
Yeah.
So we're playing this tough man's game, and a guy plays two-hand touch with you, and you're getting all mad and complaining about it. I mean, save it for another call that you don't like.
It does feel a little... Oh, sorry, breaking news. Case, you got breaking news?
I do. Speaking of things that Brent's not going to like because he's not going to figure out what channel it's on. Breaking
Peacock.
news from Adam Schefter, yes. The NFL announced that Peacock will be the home for the first ever exclusive live streamed NFL playoff game. So if you want to watch the wild card game in prime time on January 13th, 2024, you better get Peacock.
So hold on. Let me understand this. The first ever live streamed NFL playoff game, meaning there's no alternative to watch it but on Peacock?
Exclusive, yes.
Then what's Amazon Prime? Oh, because it's not a playoff game. Okay, it's Thursday night games.
Yes.
So it's just a different day. But all right, so Brent, do you know how to get Peacock?
I have it.
Okay. Do you have it downloaded? Do you actually have an account?
I have it downloaded,
Do you know how to find it?
I do.
Do you only have the free one or do you pay? Because if you don't pay, it's going to be behind the paywall. It's not with the free stuff.
Are they putting it behind the paywall?
Well, there's two reasons why I probably had Peacock. One is maybe I was watching the Ryder Cup at some point because it's an NBC entity, right?
Yeah.
So I could see me doing that. The other one is Yellowstone.
That's a different thing.
Coming to an end. By the way, little 96.9 The Eagle water cooler talk from this morning. Social Security Administration says lots of parents, new baby names, naming children after characters on the show Yellowstone.
That would make sense.
Does it change now that the show's getting canceled for you?
No.
Who else was at the 96.9 water cooler? As far as I understand, it's pretty much just you.
Just me now.
Okay.
I heard this.
You were talking to yourself.
I don't know where I heard it, but like the most popular name of 2022, like boy's name, was Liam.
Is that the case?
Or maybe that was the second one.
I actually, not to derail us, because this has nothing to do with football. I was talking to my mom yesterday on Mother's Day.
Well, that's very nice.
And I said, Mom, for the first time in 43 years, I had this thought. I need you to really be candid with me here. Do I have a weird middle name?
What is your middle name?
My middle name is Kenneth.
No.
You don't really know any Kenneths.
Aaron, Kenneth.
You know a Ken, right? You know Kenny.
Yeah, Ken and Kenny.
And maybe their full name is, but no one ever refers to them by that name. Like, I've never heard anyone else called this name in my entire life. And I was sitting there in the car going, I think I've got a weird name now.
Well, did you like hang out in the driveway, like stuck on this?
No,
is that why you called? Was that the main reason for your call?
No, I got to tell her Happy Mother's Day. But as long as you're here, Mom, did you screw my life up with giving me a weird name? She goes, I guess it is kind of like an old school, old person's name.
But if it's Kenneth Aaron, you'd go by Ken. But if it's Aaron Kenneth, you're not going to go Aaron Ken.
I don't even use my last name, much less my middle name. So
yeah, I don't know.
It could have been like Aaron Saul, which is an old person's name, or Gertrude for a girl, but Kenneth. I was like, who else has that name? All right, that was it. Just a sheer panic brought on by my middle name. No
but
big
your
deal.
mom agreed.
Yeah, she thought it was a little bit weird.
She said, I really set you up for failure.
She goes, you are kind of a little weirdo. So, you know.
Sorry, dude.
Anyway, get Peacock if you don't have it.
Well, but is this a good thing for the NFL?
It'll be fine.
They're going to transition people?
Yeah.
Because the Prime stuff was just okay. And
Yeah.
we're not seeing these crazy numbers. You know, the NFL loves to spit out numbers and how great things were. Have you seen the spit out numbers on Prime? I don't remember them. I don't think they were bragging about it.
No, as we saw some reports that said they were lower, still high versus like other kinds of TV, but lower than what the NFL's used to. Here's the thing, though. This is like the learning period.
And, like, this isn't the Cardinals and the Rams on Thursday night. This is a
Good
playoff
point, too.
game.
Good
Like, we're
point.
buying it.
Yeah, people will find it.
Yep.
But behind a paywall, that seems fairly extreme. I guess Amazon Prime is behind a paywall.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to cost you much less than Amazon Prime. If you just got Amazon Prime for football.
Do you think the NFL's going to this model where, aside from Sunday Ticket, it's going to be essentially pay for play? Now, as a consumer, you've got to pay for services to see the NFL?
I don't know if it's so there's two things in my mind going on here. Well, maybe three. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's where it's going. I don't think it's going there.
I would hate that.
I think a lot of people would.
I wouldn't be alone in that thought. Yeah.
No. Because, listen, everybody can say sooner or later it will be on stream or whatever. It's still going to take 20 years for that to happen. Like, it'll take longer than you think, is my point. I wonder if this is negotiation future stuff for the NFL against the networks.
But Peacock is the networks.
Well, I guess.
Yeah. That's NBC Universal.
But the more you put stuff on stream, it brings the Amazons and everybody else into play, right? That's not even part of the networks.
Yeah, we heard from the NFL the stream play was about the younger audience. But, like, there are free tiers of these services. So for the NFL to put it behind a paywall, I think is a little bit confusing to me.
And then I guess the other part of it is, like, just trying to transition people over. Because it's going to be that way at some point, right?
You know, and as we talk this out, I think about the reaction that I remember people having when these football games went to ESPN, like Monday night or Sunday night. And people were complaining about, well, you have to pay for ESPN to have football. But then all the stats came out that like 92% of Americans with a TV in their house have access to ESPN. And it wasn't as big a deal. So maybe that's what this is, but it just feels slightly different.
I told you again, I mean, I know I'm old for you guys, but I'm not old. And
No.
I'm not watching, like, I'm not as, like, hooked onto the Amazon Prime stuff on Thursday night. Like, that legit happened to me. I wasn't like, oh, I got to tune in and lock into it. If I could flip through in the office at work, I would been more apt to do it. It felt like work to me.
Yeah.
To actually go look at Amazon Prime for it. That's not, and I've seen stuff on Amazon Prime, or I'll go find stuff, but it's when I want to find it, not that when you're forcing me to find it. And so I felt like a little, and that might just be me, but I doubt it's just me. It's never just me.
I don't know. Like, the 3 extra steps are keeping you from the only football game on. Like, I'm confused by this. You're not flipping through, so you can't find it, which is what's going to stop you on a Thursday night. You're like, hey, you know what? I've got all these other things going on a Thursday night. Like, no,
Well, because
you're finding
I
the
do
game.
have all these other things
You're
going on
just
Thursday
annoyed.
night.
You're just annoyed by it. You're like, oh, let me add these 5 extra steps, and boom, I've got football.
I guess if I
You're
was
not
at
just
home
watching
sitting on my
baseball.
couch, I would be, but I can run into a bunch of different things that I'd stopped me before instead of watching the Seahawks and the Cardinals play. Like, I really don't care about that game. And I can find out how my fantasy team did,
Right.
just look on the computer. So
the games sucking don't help. But, like, in a normal scenario where it's 2 halfway decent teams, you're like, all right.
I'll find it.
I'm doing it.
I'll find it.
But
I'm
also-
still more apt to stream it on my phone now than I am even just to put it in the
that's
TV.
the point,
Which is
though.
still
Like, I think the
fine,
NFL is looking for people to be able to access it on devices, phones and tablets or foldables or whatever. But if you're talking about a Sunday game at 1 o'clock, yeah, maybe you're out and about and you need to check in on the game on your phone or something like that. But for a playoff game, which is likely, possibly, well, not likely, but, possibly a night game or whatever, like, aren't you making time to sit down at a TV and watch this? So I'm not sure why it matters as much to the NFL to get that on a streaming platform.
Yeah, other than maybe it's a negotiation ploy down the road and other things. I mean, what's coming? And I do think, listen, if there's one entity that is going to help change habits, like nothing else like the NFL can do that.
No, you're right.
The NFL is the entity that can change your viewing habits.
Yeah, when it changes, you change. Yeah.
It's the most watched everything every week, every year, and continues to grow. So, I mean, streaming might get catapulted by the NFL in terms of how many people transition to do it all the time. I get a lot of people are doing it already, but not everybody's doing it.
No, this could possibly be the mainstream turn, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Hey, back to my Quinnen Williams complaint.
Yeah.
Before we get the breaking news
Martin,
about
no trigger
Peacock.
alert, yeah.
There were some people actually when I tweeted about this that actually thought it is a pretty good negotiation ploy potentially.
Me too.
Like you do. So you think agents advise?
Yeah, I think it's one of the first things they tell them when negotiation hits a stalemate is they ask the player to put pressure on the team. And the only way the player does that is by making the fans put the pressure on the team.
That's the point, right? Sentiment then goes to the fans because you're talking to the fans and it's like, hey, don't lose my favorite player.
Like I said,
so now team's under pressure because team looks bad.
Yes. Like I don't think it was coincidence. Lamar Jackson's out there throwing shade at the Ravens the second before Harbaugh gets to the mic at the combine. But that's the way that went down. It's very rehearsed or coordinated.
Yeah. I guess we never know if it works. Like, I don't think Quinnen Williams saying anything on social media is going to impact whether he gets signed or not.
Well, so let's time out because, fine, attributing a player getting re-signed or signed to that might be tough. But if you look at the last few examples we have, Kyler Murray got his deal. Debo got his deal. Metcalf got his deal. Like, these guys get their deals.
I know, but
Rodgers got his deal.
Is there anyone there that you didn't think was going to get a deal? I mean, honestly, the one guy that you thought wouldn't get a deal based on what he said was probably Lamar.
Yeah.
Lamar attacking those guys on the day of the NFL owners meetings.
Yeah, I thought he was asking out. Yeah.
Yeah, you're basically, everybody thought, well, that's splintered, broken. This is bad.
Saquon didn't get the deal, and he was tweeting. So he didn't scrub his entire stuff, but he was he was vocal about it online. And there's one more I just thought of that I just lost it.
I don't know if there's a comp to this. But do we see this in other sports?
You see it in the NBA.
We do?
Yeah. You see social media conversations between players and fan base regarding team and contract there. I don't see it. I've never seen it in baseball.
It's wild to me. We have there's a lot of agents out there now, right? There's a lot of marketing firms, agent firms, representation of players. And it must be in their playbook to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an interesting thing to put in the playbook.
Like, I definitely think pressure works. The question is this what gets the amount of pressure you're looking for? I don't know. DeAndre Hopkins was a guy who did this, and it didn't work because he's still with his team.
Yeah, that's true. But he also has kind of said that I never said I didn't want to be here.
But he also scrubbed his social media and then went in video and was like, oh, I'd like to play here, here, and here.
Yeah, it's just bizarre.
Yeah.
I don't even know anything to comp it to.
I think you hate it because it really does encapsulate the selfish player to you, I think.
Yeah.
This is a guy more concerned about his contract situation than about his teammates and how they feel about what's happening.
Well, I think there's a little bit. I get the listen, there's their livelihood and you can take a stand and I understand there's more power to the player than ever before. The branding of the player matters. I think this is I can't get by. Again, if this happened in baseball more, I'd probably be okay with it. If this happened in whatever sport, this is a tough guy sport, taking a 7th grade teenager tactic to the negotiation table, in my opinion. I mean, and I think has zero impact. That's zero impact. It's such a goofy thing.
Outside of saying I'm going to hold out, like this is, to me, the intermediate between everything's fine, this isn't a problem for me, and everything's not fine, and this is a problem, and I'm holding out.
This is basically the indicator to the fan because they've already told the negotiation table
months ago,
that, right?
if not years ago.
So this is the tip to the fan that, hey, this isn't as good as you think it might be. Like, it's not all's good.
Yeah, it's a real deal that it may leave.
Yeah. Give us another tweet before we hit the break.
Let's talk about Matty Ice. We mentioned it a little earlier in the program, but Matt Ryan with a tweet from the mouth of babes. Not such a young babe. Excited to join the NFL on CBS family. Looking forward to breaking down the game this season. P.S. guys, this is not a retirement post. Ooh, winky face emoji. So here's Matt Ryan letting everybody know he's probably not going to pick up with another team this season. He's already got a job, and it's got nothing to do with throwing the football and everything to do with announcing the throws of the football, but purposely not retiring here, Brent. I mean, he's not hanging it up, but do you think he's kind of hanging it up anyway?
Yeah, he's hanging it up because you brought it up earlier. I mean, there's articles out that say from a roster standpoint, from a dollar standpoint, there's some technicalities here that allow him to still get his base salary, which I think is like $12 million.
Yeah, there's
right.
$12 million tied to the 23 salary, but put a percentage on it. What is the percentage Matt Ryan plays for a team this season?
2%.
2%.
Plays or is on the roster?
Plays. Or is on the roster if you want to go even less than that. Knowing that
2%.
Knowing that the Commanders possibly reached out to Andrew Luck last year, Phillip Rivers has been contacted recently by a team.
100%.
Knowing all that stuff, still at 2% for Matt Ryan.
It's because he hates him. It's 100%. Matt Ryan will be on somebody's roster.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's going to be good, but don't you think he'll be somewhere at some point?
No, I don't.
Even if it's 2024 case?
No, I think he's totally done. And it's a technicality and it's a paperwork thing. And he's got to wait till a certain amount of time, and that's it. I think he's done. Now, Kasey, I know why Kasey thinks this way, and he might be right. If San Francisco could have signed him with 3 weeks to go or, something like that, and not have to play no quarterback, would they have done it? Would it be a better option? Yeah, I think you can make that case.
Yeah.
But they could have picked up the phone and called Phillip Rivers, who was somewhat interested apparently too. They could have called probably a lot of guys. I think that possibility exists. I'm not betting on it.
I don't think it's just that. I think people get hurt all the time. Somebody's quarterback is going to miss the whole season this year. It's going to happen. It happens every year. Somebody gets hurt.
What about mentoring? You could build a young statue in front of your stadium and need one of these older statues to mentor him in how to be a statue.
Yeah.
So you call Matty Ice.
He's exiting guys, though. Like, he's not going to do this is his next phase. Like, you don't do this for a week and then say, I'm back in. Now, you could, but there comes a time where if he does this for a month and we're into October, he's not coming back.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So, and I'd be hesitant to pick him up. I'm sure somebody will call and test it and see if you've been working out and what does it look like and everything else. But listen, I think Matt Ryan has definitely played his last play, and I know this goes to a roster standpoint. I don't think he's even on a roster.
If he's retired, Hall of Famer or no?
It's questionable. It's really.
He's got some top 10 stuff.
He has a lot of stuff. His numbers are really good. Stafford did the same thing, but then Stafford won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's never won a Super Bowl. He came close.
I'm going to say no on Matt Ryan.
AV of 210 for his career case.
Yeah, it's probably no, because at some point you have to set a precedent, because if you go by the passing numbers, then the majority of quarterbacks that have played from 10 years ago to now are all going to get in, because you're just going to keep throwing and throwing and throwing. He's had a great career, but I think you got to set a precedent somewhere.
Last thing on it, and then I'll let you guys go to break. For his career, if you're looking for similar players, according to Pro Football Reference, they're throwing in names like Marino, Elway, Tarkenton, Montana, Favre.
In what context?
For his career, similar players, quality
Numbers?
and shape. Yeah. Now, there are other players on there who aren't Hall of Famers, like Phillip Rivers, and Aaron Rodgers will eventually be one, Eli Manning, Russell Wilson, Ken Anderson.
He's in a very Phillip Rivers conversation.
He really is.
Lots of numbers, no championships, and it's debatable.
So I could see him get in.
He does have the MVP, though.
That helps.
It's debatable. 15 awards, by the way.
Brent Friends, Football at 5. We'll be back on ESPN 690. Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton coming up at 6, by the way.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy tonight. Temperatures dropping into the mid to upper 60s by morning. Tomorrow will be partly sunny, very warm, quite humid. A few afternoon storms develop with a high of 88. For the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Proud to offer a huge selection of both lab-grown and natural diamonds at the lowest prices guaranteed.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
Live life to the fullest. You hear that all the time, but it's easier said than done when you're in pain, right? Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martin. QC Kinetics is in the business of giving people back their quality of life and providing much-needed relief from chronic joint pain. And not just providing that relief, but doing it in the most non-invasive way possible using regenerative treatments from your body's own natural biologics. Where's your joint pain? In your knees, hips, shoulders, or back? Well, QC Kinetics concentrates these impactful treatments right at the source of your pain, directly applying healing properties where you need them most. And best of all, you walk into the office and walk right out after treatment. No surgery, no downtime, and patients are raving about the results. So what does living life to the fullest look like for you? Finally being able to play golf, hike, walk your dog, enjoy time with your family, whatever it is, don't wait one more day. Get started today. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation, 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522. They're in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, 904-274-5522.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Imagine you're looking at a balancing scale with everything you do for other people on one side and everything you do for yourself on the other side. If it isn't balanced, maybe it's time to spend a little more time on you. And therapy is a great place to start. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can help you find that balance and stick to it. Visit BetterHelp.com/score to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/score.
Shop the Beaches Green Market this and every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Penman Park on Penman Road for fresh local fruits and vegetables, plants, meats, eggs, baked goods, honey, wellness products, and so much more. EBT cards welcome. DigLocal.org for more info.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Kinetico softener and drinking water system. Kinetico's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Kinetico K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Kinetico Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Kinetico dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BIKE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BIKE to 321-321. That's BIKE to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Jacksonville Icemen Game 6 tonight. Can they draw all even with the Florida Everblades? in the ECHL playoffs. Head on down. VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena tonight. Game 6.
Kasey might have a hockey take. No? You're just getting prepared.
Yep.
Okay.
You would like to go?
Thought he bellied up to
We
the
got
mic.
no gate fees.
I guess not. I find it interesting you count your episodes of no gate fees. It kind of adds to the allure that it's a limited edition program.
It is. There's only 12 of them.
And you're up to 11.
We're up to 11. We've almost made it.
Urgency.
Almost.
Casey's like, we're almost done.
Yeah, he probably is. He's missed like 3 of them. So only you haven't even done all of them.
Not true.
So have you missed 3?
I've missed two.
You
So-
almost missed a third.
A year ago, you had the golf show.
Yeah.
This past year, it was
What
no
are we
gate
doing
fees.
next year?
What are you doing next year? It's a little
I don't know.
pickleball action. I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah.
A little more from the Eagle Cooler, water cooler talk. Malls, anchor stores in malls are all being replaced by indoor
You did that this
pickleball.
morning?
I did do that this
Are
morning.
they really?
Dang. You better tell your midday person that they stole your thing.
Oh, no. We did the same story.
Like,
That's
it might
a
have been
thing?
word for word because
It's
I heard
popular.
that exact story, and I was going to say that was a great break, but now you're telling me it was ripped off from your show?
I mean, I don't know if it was ripped off from my show. It's a thing. It's in the news. That's what we all prep in the same spots probably. But I talked about it because we've got a couple of malls in town that are either dying or dead, like Regency.
Yeah.
That thing is like a ghost town. Orange Park Mall is not in good shape. I mean, even the Avenues, which was like the bastion of malls when I moved here, it's not as healthy as it once looked 20 years ago. And it's because these big anchor stores leave, and then like all these other smaller stores start to leave. So they're taking the Macy's and the Sears and the Bed Bath & Beyonds, and they're turning them to indoor pickle courts.
With multiple levels?
Yeah, I think so. Like
That's
a real deal.
Wild place to put. I'm trying to picture that, and I can't because all I see is clothes everywhere. Right? So it's pretty wild. I mean, listen, that pickleball stuff is growing. So I guess it doesn't surprise me.
Maybe you stop.
So
at
we're not doing
Cinnabon after
we're
your next
not
match.
doing a pickleball show.
Okay, well we could have. You had the 3 best ranked players in the city.
Yeah.
All right,
But
we can go
I
somewhere
still
else.
want to do a pickleball tournament, maybe though.
We should do that as a station.
I know. We got to do it. Trying to plan too many things. This week we're doing. I got Dream 18 date coming out. And he's still got a golf
18.
tournament.
Forgot about that. You do
And
this
now,
every year.
now I'm on to something else. How do you like this idea? I'll float it out to you guys.
There we go.
All right?
All right.
Don't
Casey's
worry,
very
Casey.
excited.
You'll be long gone.
He's very excited.
So,
I like it better if I'm not here.
so Casey, you know, like we've been doing this committed to the uncommitted,
Yeah.
right? So somebody suggested this, and then
So
it
it's
really
not
got
your
me
idea.
thinking. No, it's not all ideas are mine, which is a good thing. And said, well, maybe we can do like an end of the year all-star game featuring like the
All the
committed,
people who-
uncommitted kids, right? Well, I said, yeah, that's really hard to put together like now. But I was thinking maybe we should do that for like in November to get them on the radar before their senior seasons begin.
Oh, interesting.
So we have like a county by county tournament. So you get obviously Duval County, St. Johns County, and you whatever it is, 6 teams in it or something like that. Maybe we even get more. And that way you can bring all the coaches in, or at least you could stream it. And then we got people on the radar before the show even starts.
I think that's
season
actually
2 of No Gate Fees.
a really cool idea.
Yeah, I think it could be. I think it could work.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking about today.
Especially for
So
the
today I do.
opportunity to possibly get some of these kids extra eyeballs on some of their play.
Well, here's what we know, and we'll update it tonight on No Gate Fees. It's actually gained some traction in the baseball world specifically. We got to get the softball world cooking a little bit more. We know it's helped in football. And so it's definitely, I'm not saying it's turning everybody into scholarship offers or finding homes, but it's had a little bit of influence. And maybe we keep doing it, we can get more influence on it. So that could be the case. That's what I'm thinking about today. So we got Dream 18.
It's a cool idea.
We got another show maybe. We got a baseball tournament. We got a pickleball tournament. I mean, we just need an event staff here.
We have a promotions department.
We just need an event staff here.
All right. Cool.
We don't get to borrow anybody from promotions. We're ESPN 690. We're
Plus,
just
we
trying to
start
make
at 3, so, everybody's gone by 3.
Hey, what do you got on the tweet?
Let's go to Peter Schrager next.
All right. Not Kyle Brandt.
No, but
pretty much the same.
Along the same lines. And I wouldn't call it pretty much the same because I don't think this is as much besmirchment. But I do think there are some people left off this list a little closer to home who we could be talking about. Peter Schrager's tweet, my top 5 clutch quarterbacks currently playing in the NFL. Top 5 clutch currently in the NFL. He's got Mahomes, Stafford, Burrow, Rodgers, and Josh Allen.
I was surprised to see Stafford on that.
I'm surprised to see Josh Allen on that.
I'm trying to find the most updated list of come from behind and fourth quarter wins, and I'm struggling to find a good one from recent. I got one from before last year. So
Give us the list again.
You're looking. You got Patrick Mahomes.
He's clutch.
Matt Stafford.
I don't get that.
Joe Burrow.
That's fine.
Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, won Super Bowl in forever. But
to me, Super Bowl is different than clutch.
I get it.
And then Josh Allen.
See, I think Josh Allen, Kasey, it's interesting. People are so down on Josh Allen after 1 year.
What has he won? Go back to all the Bills moments, all these great games they play against other teams. They lose them every time.
Yeah, but
except in the regular season. They're great in the regular season.
I know, but he does not get credit. He was super clutch in the game against Kansas City. It wasn't his fault the defense gave up a touchdown or points or whatever it was with 13 seconds to go. Like, he gave them the lead with 13 seconds to go, and they could not finish the job from 65 yards out. Like, that was not his fault. Like, that should not be on his. Like, he won that game. From his perspective, he did everything humanly possible from a quarterback standpoint to win the football game.
It's unfortunate they didn't actually win. 11 fourth quarter comebacks for Josh Allen.
So that's pretty good.
You got 5 in the young career of one Trevor Lawrence.
Well, now, we're going to get to that part of it in a moment. Like, can he be the clutch guy? And because over the last 2 months of the season, he turned into clutch guy.
So the reason Schrager, I believe, has Stafford number 2 on this list.
Wait, make him guess.
Because he lead the league in come from behind?
Nah, just you're going to besmirch him. Take a guess, my guy.
Or how many? You want him to guess how many?
I want him to guess how many.
The hint is that he's the active leader.
That's what I was thinking, yeah. Well, he's also the longest player on the list
He's been
other than
playing
Aaron
since
Rodgers.
2009, yeah.
We will also accept a guess for second place, who is technically still active.
And not on the list.
Matt Ryan, second.
Yep.
So I'm going to give you, let's see, if 11 is Josh Allen through the first few years, then I'll give you Matthew Stafford. He's been playing since 2009.
Yes.
Yes.
46.
46 is Tom Brady's number, I believe.
46 is Tom Brady's number. Matt Stafford has 34.
34. So if you're talking about active guys, he's followed by Derek Carr at 28.
Okay.
Then you've got Russell Wilson at 27.
Who's played a lot less.
Now, with that being said, in Stafford's, by the way, 3 of them were in the playoffs. The Super Bowl, the NFC Championship, and then...
Now, that's clutch. To me,
so at the right time.
The game against
definitively
Tampa.
Clutch versus a September comeback win.
Yes.
Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, Andy Dalton, we knew, Ryan Tannehill, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers at 21. But there's Aaron Rodgers on that list at number 4.
So Rodgers is 21?
Since 2005.
Why wouldn't you have Derek Carr on this list? 28? Nobody would ever think of that. 28 comeback wins? Guy's only been playing since, 14? That's 5 years less than Stafford?
Yeah.
And he's got 6 less comeback wins?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Very.
And both have played for just okay organizations, given the Lions and the Raiders. So that's a heck of a number right there for Derek Carr. And it's not the end-all, be-all number. When you think of clutch, right, obviously Brady, when you said 46, that's his number. It's not the all-time, right?
No.
John Elway way up there?
It is actually the all-time.
Oh, 46 is all-time?
All-time. 43, Peyton Manning. Number 2, Roethlisberger at 41 is your top 3.
Wow. How about that? I would have thought Elway.
At 31.
Really? That's it? So Stafford's got more than... So Trevor already in 2 years has 5?
5, yeah.
Considering they won 3 games his rookie year, that's pretty good.
And 2 of those were fourth quarter wins.
By the way, 2 of those were the rookie year.
Oh, hey, Case, how you doing?
This does count playoffs? So, the Chargers game counted?
I believe so, yeah.
It does.
Okay, so that's the next phase of this. Based off the last 2 months, really.
Oh,
you
so
think of
time
the
out.
Ravens?
I apologize. If the Chargers game counts, he's got 6. He's got 2 from his rookie year, Miami and Buffalo. 3 from this past year, Raiders, Ravens, Cowboys. And then the Chargers. So 6.
It's funny how you get credit for stuff like the Cowboys. Like, he fumbled in overtime.
Yeah.
And then gets the pick 6, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that game that he fumbled?
I believe it was.
He did. And so It's funny how that worked. Oh, no, he didn't fumble in overtime. He fumbled toward the end of regulation.
Right.
Then it was
Fourth
able
quarter.
to get it back, and they tied it up. So
still impressive. 6 in 2 years.
Okay, so what you just said, though, is really 4 in the last 2 months of his play. 4 in the last 2 months where he really flipped the script. So is that Trevor? You got to remember now, this is one thing we don't know about Trevor, because Trevor is a great front runner. And I don't say that from a negative standpoint. Clemson was in the lead all the time, it felt like, right? They won all the time. High school, I'm sure he was in the lead all the time. We don't know that part about Trevor Lawrence. And how important is it, if you look at the names on that list that are the leaders, from Brady to Manning to Roethlisberger, like, is it part of the formula of being great? Where's Mahomes on the list? They play from ahead a lot.
Yeah, I got to search for him on the list. I was actually just peeking at Joe Burrow. He's got 5 fourth-quarter comebacks, 7 game-winning drives.
Yes.
2 in the postseason. So he's doing a little bit of work there in his limited time.
What's more important, game-winning drive, fourth-quarter comeback?
More important, huh?
From a clutch standpoint.
I mean, they're both wins, so that's the ultimate metric, right? From a clutch standpoint, the game-winning drive.
Because remember, until Baltimore, was it Baltimore the one that he finally had? Because he had come up empty on some of those game-winning opportunities. Denver was another chance for one, right? There's several.
Yeah, to me, fourth-quarter comeback can be a low-pressure thing that happens at the beginning of the fourth quarter.
It could be, so it's a little misleading.
But a game-winning drive, it's like all on your shoulders, do or die.
Well, and the thing about the game-winning drive is you're in that situation a lot in the NFL. It's supposed to be a one-score game, and you get the ball. You probably get that situation some 5 times this season.
Mahomes has 13 regular season, 3 postseason. I'm sorry. 13 regular season fourth-quarter comebacks, 14 game-winning drives, 3 – they could be the same, by the way. 3 postseason fourth-quarter comebacks, 4 postseason game-winning drives.
Pretty good.
On a team that is almost never losing.
It feels like they're not losing.
Right.
So, yeah, it's fascinating to see where guys are and which one do you put more weight on. Game-winning drives are a part of it. It looked like Mahomes' numbers are pretty equal.
Yeah.
One more just to do this. You had 46 fourth-quarter comebacks for Tom Brady.
No, we had 46 fourth-quarter comebacks. Yes, I'm sorry.
What was his game-winning drives? Can you find that out?
Yes, I can.
Before we hit a break?
I can.
Because I think that's like, I don't know which one means more, but it feels like game-winning drives mean more. Like, that's the one where you have 2 minutes to go and you got to get the job done.
So regular season, I believe that number is 58 game-winning drives.
Wow.
And in the postseason, it's 14.
Wow.
14 game-winning drives in the postseason.
See, that's the metric.
Holy
that's the
smokes.
more important number.
Yes.
Because essentially what happens if you had 46 fourth-quarter comebacks and 58 game-winning drives in the regular season, that means they're tied, right? A dozen of those times in the game-winning situation.
Yeah.
To me, that's a little bit more important. Is once you get the ball, and again, these are drives, these aren't all touchdowns. Get yourself in field goal range, do those kind of things. And part of the evolution of Trevor Lawrence throughout the first 18 months of his career and the last couple of months of his career on the field were, can he do that? And he really turned into doing that. He did 4 fourth-quarter comebacks and a couple of game-winning drives.
4 game-winning drives in the regular season.
He had 4 this year?
He had 2 in his rookie year. See, it says 4 fourth-quarter comebacks, 4 game-winning drives, but it's listing 5 games. You got
because Dallas wasn't a game-winning drive. They had the interception.
But then it would be 5 fourth-quarter comebacks. And it says 4. So.
Yeah, a little technicality
All
there.
right.
Keep in mind, what's crazy is he got a game-winning drive for the Miami one in London, which was his first career win, where they executed the play 3 seconds ago. It was like a 50-something yard field goal by your guy Matthew Wright to get that W.
The kicking goat.
Be a metric to continue to watch for Trevor, but he's definitely on his way now for being in the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
We'll take a break, put a bow on the show. Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton on deck. No gate fees right after that at 7. Full night here on ESPN 690. Don't forget to check us out on the TV side as well. CBS 47 and Fox 30 tonight. We'll have some high school playoff action. We've got a fun story with that Dust Devil and the hero umpire coming up tonight as well on the TV side. We'll be back right after this on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
This is a busy time of year for families, especially if you have teenagers, kids getting their license, kids going off to college, and someone probably needs a new car. And that's why you go to Nimnick Buick GMC, #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Looking for the perfect truck or SUV? Nimnick Buick GMC has more models on the ground than they've had in over 2 years. Looking for a used car under $18,000? Nimnick has a great selection of over 300 used cars, trucks, and SUVs to choose from. Visit the showroom off Phillips Highway or shop NimnickBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Rich Jones here. Investing can be more about just filling a bank account. It's about having a secure retirement, protecting your family. Let DLP Capital help you to protect your why. Here's CEO and founder Don Wenner.
I started DLP Capital with an expectation that I could provide my family, my investors, my team members, and the families of my investors with awesome returns, limited volatility, and no losses, all while providing desperately needed affordable housing to the American workforce.
To get your investor's guide and learn more, dial *invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
By now, you've heard all of our ads. America's largest injury law firm. It means that when you hire us, you get a legal army. When it comes to law, size matters. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Connecticut K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Hubbard House is the domestic violence center that serves Duval and Baker counties with free, confidential resources. The 24-hour hotline is 904-354-3114.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. They have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Jacksonville area attorneys. Offices in Jacksonville and by appointment only in Ponte Vedra Beach. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Live life to the fullest. You hear that all the time, but it's easier said than done when you're in pain, right? Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martin. QC Kinetics is in the business of giving people back their quality of life and providing much-needed relief from chronic joint pain. And not just providing that relief, but doing it in the most non-invasive way possible using regenerative treatments from your body's own natural biologics. Where's your joint pain? In your knees, hips, shoulders, or back? Well, QC Kinetics concentrates these impactful treatments right at the source of your pain, directly applying healing properties where you need them most. And best of all, you walk into the office and walk right out after treatment. No surgery, no downtime, and patients are raving about the results. So what does living life to the fullest look like for you? Finally being able to play golf, hike, walk your dog, enjoy time with your family, whatever it is, don't wait one more day. Get started today. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation, 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522. They're in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, 904-274-5522. Hey
everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690. Well, before there was Ja Morant's saga going on in the NFL, there was NBA. There was Joel Embiid's comments.
That's right.
What do you make of it? You guys suck on my team.
I mean, he's clearly frustrated. I would be too if I was him. It's just the same result over and over again. I was telling Kasey, I almost feel a little bit proud as a Nets fan that the Celtics keep ending the Sixers season because those were the Nets draft picks at one point that the Celtics are now making their dynastic playoff runs on.
What? You kind of got to go listen. You got to be careful at just headlines on the Embiid stuff. Mm-hmm. But even if it's still like, hey, we need more. We need more.
I mean, I don't see a problem with the comments like that.
I think it's a little dangerous. I mean, I get being a leader, doing your job, doing all that stuff. Like, how many times could LeBron James have said that over the years? Does he? Like, I don't remember him saying that kind of stuff.
I don't think he was so outspoken like that. But the reality was he could have done himself a service to do so, especially early on with Cleveland, where he had literally no help.
By the way, Jason Tatum's pretty good.
He's amazing.
Celtics or Heat?
Celtics. I mean, if it's not a sweep, it's like 4-1.
We will see. Celtics Lakers. That could be good.
Yeah. We'll throw back to the 80s.
Somebody said, it was the Heat and Lakers in the pandemic year, in the bubble? I think it was.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Could be a rematch of that. All right, that's going to do it here on a Monday. Hope everybody had a good Monday. We're not done yet. Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton, 6 until 7 p.m. And then no gate fees, 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. right here on ESPN 690. And don't forget to listen to the Aaron Schachter in the morning, 96.9, The Eagle. Have a good night, everybody.
If you're the victim of a car crash, never rush to settle with the insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anna Jar Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Jump in the iCryo chat chamber on Brent Friends daily on ESPN 690. Agree with Kasey. Disagree with me. Give Aaron a hard time about the Jets. Be a part of the iCryo chat chamber and check out iCryo in St. Johns County and at iCryo.com.
Just be confident. Community First makes smarter banking simple so you can relax, knowing you're managing your money the right way, yours. Visit communityfirstfl.org. Community First Credit Union. Just be yourself. Federally insured by NCUA.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
You know that the technical trades are red hot with career opportunities. Skilled heating and air technicians are highly respected and make great money. And nowhere are the opportunities hotter than at Hammond Air Conditioning, a local Jacksonville HVAC contractor that's been serving commercial and residential customers for over 60 years. Hammond is hot because there's plenty of work and a variety of rewarding and interesting roles, especially for experienced commercial duct installation techs where the projects are already scheduled and you could get to work right away. While Hammond has job openings in all areas, we're especially in need of residential and commercial service technicians. Because of the variety of work Hammond performs, you'll have a bigger variety of career directions you could take advantage of compared to the other HVAC contractors. And you'll be working for a family-owned local company that wants to see you advance and make more money. Go to HammondAC.com or call 904-398-6488.
Hi, Sarah. I'm sorry I'm late. The traffic is crazy.
Yeah, it is. And it doesn't help that gas prices have skyrocketed. I can't believe how much it costs for gas now.
Everyone's talking about how much gas is, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app, and I get cash back for every gallon of gas I buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid real cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yeah, real cash every time I buy gas.
What? That sounds like it could really add up.
I've made around $200 already.
Wow, that's serious extra money. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CAR3 for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CAR3 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus in your first tank. That's code CAR3 for 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
Guys, fellas, men, do you want a better sex life? Roman has genuine medication that helps you achieve and maintain what you need to perform. Roman has discreet wipes that help you last 4 times longer in bed. Roman has testosterone testing and treatment. Treating low testosterone can help revive your sex drive. So men, what are you waiting for? For a better sex life, go to ro.co/bettersex. Do it today and get 20% off. That's ro.co/bettersex.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Quarterback Dylan Raiola, the number 1 prospect in the 2024 recruiting class, told ESPN he has committed to Georgia. He's the son of former NFL offensive lineman Dominic Raiola. The process of gathering more information on the latest situation involving Grizzlies star Ja Morant continues for the NBA. Morant, seen in a social media post over the weekend holding a gun, has been suspended by the Grizzlies from all team activities. 2 months ago, the league suspended Morant 8 games over a similar situation. Memphis's front office has a difficult task ahead dealing with the face of the franchise, notes ESPN's Bobby Marks.
You basically built this roster around him. He's the face of your franchise. He's everywhere. As this roster goes, you have to have basically Ja Morant as your main guy. So yeah, I mean, there's the discipline part of it, but then there's the certainly the team part of it as far as how how you handle it.
Bobby Marks on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Stanley Cup playoffs, Kraken Stars. Game 7 tonight, 8 Eastern, ESPN TV. Winner gets Vegas in the West Final.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Make sure your family is well taken care of with life insurance. Protect your phones, laptops, and more with electronic device insurance. And cover your furry friends with pet health insurance.
Does your digital marketing work? Not sure? Would you like to be? Then reach out to CMG Local Solutions. At CMG Local Solutions, we help you find new customers with a suite of powerful digital marketing services, including search, targeted display, video, and analytics. In fact, we're a Google Premier partner, an honor given only to their top marketing partners. So if you want results you can actually measure, both on the web and on your bottom line, we can give them to you. Learn more about how we can help you at cmglocalsolutions.com.
You've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You have to carefully monitor your health for the rest of your life. And you have an increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease.
Cut, take 2, action.
You've been diagnosed with a new purpose: to fight for the amazing life you made for yourself. To look that risk of heart disease square in the face and say, no, not me. You've been given a new opportunity to live. Get started at NoDiabetesByHeart.org.
How we doing on a Monday? Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton, ESPN 690. A Monday during the NFL offseason. Rookie minicamp is over. OTAs next week. So you may be asking yourself, what is going on this week. We will try to navigate that together. We take you until 7 o'clock tonight. No gate fees after that. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is back in the rest of the week, starting on a Tuesday. They will be on the road after a couple weeks at home. So Jumbo Shrimp Baseball all week. We will keep you posted on that. Episode 11 of 12 of No Gate Fees is coming up tonight after this program. We ask what's next for the many teams, really. The Edmonton Oilers being one, the 76ers being one, the Phoenix Suns. Teams in disarray after early playoff exits. We will do that today before we get out of here. But we will start with the very slim football news of the day. And if you want to start with the Jags and something that I'm sure some of you will get excited about for really no reason. No offense to Jacob Harris, but he has been signed by the Jags. Former fourth rounder of the Rams.
Could you be more disrespectful in the intro?
Probably not. But in a career of 2 years that has one catch for 6 yards, there's no reason to be excited. Okay? But I saw people on social media getting excited because he is 6'5", 211 pounds out of UCF.
What's that 40 time like?
That's a good question. We'll have to look into that a little bit. But it is somebody who was signed, and it technically is from the rookie minicamp, but they brought in some veteran players, as all teams did. You've probably seen multiple teams on Twitter have signed very young players in their careers getting an opportunity to work out. You've seen some guys from the XFL sign. Jacob Harris is a guy who's played a couple of years with the Rams. Special teams guy. The Jags obviously always looking to upgrade their special teams. Jacob Harris may or may not do that when we actually get to the cut down roster before week 1, but as of now, he will be here through training camp. The former UCF Knight. That's what we got on Jags news.
Kasey.
Yeah.
The boy ran a 4.39.
4.39.
At 6'5"?
At 6'5". That's pretty good. I ain't mad at that.
I've never seen Randy Moss and Jacob Harris in the same room.
Oh, no.
I'm there already. I've never seen them in the same room.
I hate to pull this card, but have you ever seen Jacob Harris?
That's besides the point. I'm saying that my statement is factually true. I've never seen both of them in the same room at the same time. Holy smokes.
That's fair.
4.39, Kuhrts. You can't teach that. I think you kind of can because they train for it, but
they do.
It feels right. You can't teach 6'5".
Yeah.
Actually, I found out, Kasey, you can teach about 20% of your height. I'm not sure how. I was just looking up statistics.
Where did you find that out?
The internet.
Oh, right.
IG.
So it definitely has to be real because you saw it on the internet.
80% of it is genetics, 20% is, I guess, I don't know. It said 80% of it was genetics, and the other 20% you can teach yourself.
How about that?
6'5", 4.39.
And will maybe be on special teams and will maybe be cut. Let's talk about something that should have been Jags news, and that is the trade of Zadarius Smith. It took... And hold on to your seats, folks. I'm sure you know this by now, but if you don't, if you're in your car, please drive with both hands on the steering wheel because this is a doozy. It took 2024 and 2025 fifth-round picks. That's what it took for Zadarius Smith. Yep, I know. 10 sacks last year. If somebody on the Jags had 10 sacks, we'd almost throw a parade, but it would have very much so led the team, and he will now head to Cleveland for 2 fifth-round picks. You may remember when the Jags had a whole bunch of fifth-round picks and didn't trade any of them. Zadarius Smith apparently was available for fifth-round picks, and they made all their fifth-round picks. So that's disappointing, huh?
But it's disappointing.
No, it's disappointing.
However.
Oh, boy.
Okay, this is a totally new statement. Because I'm in the disappointment train.
You should be.
Except for, is there a relationship there? Is there something? This seems very light for a guy who's had, at least 10 sacks in 3 of the last 4 seasons?
10 last year, but 13 and a half, 12 and a half, a season where he only played 1 game and then 10. So, yeah, your last 3 seasons that you actually played, 36 sacks.
It feels a little light.
You think?
I'd be really interested in seeing the relationship between the Browns GM and the Vikings GM. Because something's happening with that. That feels like it needs to be investigated a little bit more. Kasey, do you remember when Chris Paul got traded to the Lakers and Mark Cuban basically said, nah, this ain't fair, something ain't right, and the trade got reversed.
I actually don't remember that.
This was like 2007.
I'll take your word for it, though.
Yeah, it was right before, I think, their run. The Lakers run, Kobe's second run with the Lakers, where he went to 3 straight finals and won 2 of those.
Yeah, I might not have been alive, my guy.
Okay, it was in the 2000s, but that's cool. So this feels like somebody needs to be Mark Cuban about this, because the 2 fifth-rounders, and then they get picks back. Then you say they got picks back?
Yeah, they got like a 6th back
Yeah.
as well.
I'm like, what do they know? What was the conversation like? Or do they know something about Za'Darius that we don't know? You know what I mean? And they're just banking on this 1 year, and they're just like, all right, we'll see if he can pull through again. Because disappointment initially was my thought process, because I'm like, yeah, Jags, we could have done something like this. And then I'm just like, wait a minute, is there a relationship there? Are they buddy-buddy? Did somebody owe somebody that you'll never hear about until like a 30 for 30 years down the line? We're like, yeah, me and him, we went to University of Penn together, and then, he brought me up and all that good stuff.
What a school to pick. University of Penn.
I feel like when you go to, U of Penn, you build those kind of relationships that you help out your fellow alumni. Not like Georgia Southern.
So it will be $11.75 million of a cap hit for Za'Darius Smith. And I think it only means one thing. This is what they got. Right? Just because we want them to get an established pass rusher, which they don't have, they're not doing it. To me, I think that ship has sailed. Frank Clark's still out there. Don't hold your breath. Jan's still out there. Don't hold your breath. Any of the other random, somewhat older pass rushers are out there. Don't hold your breath. Because, this is the minimum of minimums. You trade all of those picks in the draft. You get all these 5th rounders, 6th rounders, 4th rounders, 7th rounders, any pick that you don't want, we'll take. That's fine. And then you do nothing with it. So it's frustrating. I'm not saying that they called and didn't get them. I'm not saying anything. I don't even know if they were interested. But what I do know is a football player that the last 3 years he was healthy with, 36 sacks? That blows away anything they got. They probably combined in their careers don't have 36 sacks on the roster. That's an exaggeration, but it feels pretty close.
You say it with conviction, though, so.
I will double check, but it doesn't make sense. But it tells me they're done. This is what they're going to do. They're going to take hope to the bank, and they're going to see if the checks will cash or if they're going to bounce. And we're going to find out. But I hate it.
Yeah, well, again, I'm not going to go quite as far, because we're not in the meeting rooms. It seems to be trending the way of, okay, we're going to ride with the people that we have at this point in time. But some of the names you just named, you're right, that could potentially still be in play just because they could sign them. Not because of any actions or anything that you see trending from the team, or a message here or a leak from a source saying, the Jags are still thinking about doing this with so-and-so. None of that. But just because the opportunity for that is still there. So I'm not going to completely be like, this is the team that we're going to ride in with 100% minus whoever they cut by the time we get to the actual regular season game. But again, man, there's a part of me that just wonders, is it just that there was some type of relationship? Because you look at this deal, I don't know how they value things in Cleveland or Minnesota. They have their own philosophies. But I'm just like, man, this must be something where somebody knows somebody over there in both of the front offices, or somebody owed somebody, or somebody knows something about Za'Darius Smith that we don't know about. It's got to be something else. Because 2 5th-rounders, one in, 24 and 25, and you get him, and they give you a pick back. Granted, it's a 6th-round pick. It don't add up. Cleveland's happy. Cleveland GM's like, I'm cooking out here. You hear me? You thought the draft was over with? Nah. Give me some more Zatarins, please, because I need to make sure that I got all the spices in on this little pot that I'm cooking things up in. So Myles Garrett, Za'Darius Smith.
Quick math. Josh Allen, Caleb Von Chason, Fada Kasey, Adam Gotsis, Devon Hamilton, Jordan Smith, Trayvon Walker.
What's that add up to?
Am I forgetting anybody? Roy Robertson Harris, I'm forgetting. So those guys that I just gave you, and I'm only doing the pass rushers, not like a safety who has sacks and all that, have 52.5 sacks for their careers. So Darius Smith had 36 the last 3 years, 54.5 in his career. Now, I'm not saying something is wrong there, but something ain't right there. And it feels like they should be interested on anybody that on a consistent basis gets to the quarterback. They obviously weren't. He goes to Cleveland. You'll now have to play him this year. Hopefully they can figure out how to block him. Roy Robertson Harris in his career with 13.5 sacks. Brings you up to 66 career sacks on your roster. This guy has more than half of that in his 54.5 in his career. And he got traded for 6th-round picks.
Oh,
or 5th-round picks, sorry, that the Jags had 84 of.
Oh, the chat has some info. I can see some of it. I see
The Vikings GM
Browns.
used to work for the Browns.
Oh,
according
okay.
to Nathan Dean. So there's your connection. But still, I don't think they're doing anything there. I think they've got what they've got, and they're going to hope for the best.
Well, how much would you put into the fact that maybe they looked at him and they just said he's not a fit? I get the numbers. They looked at what he put those numbers up in, and they just said, hey, listen, for where he was at in the schemes that he was in, like that's why he worked so well in that. But if we brought him into here, we don't think that would be the same kind of outcome. And since we don't deal in hope, because Kasey Kuhrts said don't deal in hope, we're not going to sign him even to a 1-year, $11.75 million contract to see if it works out this year.
They better be right.
Yeah.
I mean, truly.
No, you're right.
They better be right. Now, the scheme fit is one thing, but this is a guy that plays outside linebacker, which is what you're looking for, right? I mean, if he was a big end, I'd be like, maybe. You know, you got Trayvon that you might want to do there. You got Roy Robertson Harris who you re-signed, so, But that's literally what you're looking for, outside linebacker. 10 sacks last year. You better be right. I mean, you can't be wrong.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So.
You're right. Okay, well, hey.
It is what it is. He goes to Cleveland, and still no pass rusher.
Where's that pick Cleveland at on your list now? You had Cleveland as a playoff team or a fringe playoff team?
Fringe. I mean, it depends on Deshaun Watson, no matter what.
Still.
But they are a tick more concerning. If I'm Baltimore, I'm a tick more concerned. I don't think they're better than Baltimore. They're certainly not better than Cincinnati. I don't think they're better than Pittsburgh, but maybe now it's close that you got two guys and they only got one, really. So I think they're kind of still in the same spot, but I think if they have leads in games late, trying to block Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith is going to be a problem. It's not going to be a fun time. So I think it makes their closeout ability that much tougher. Their closeout ability that much tougher. I think Joe Burrow's a guy who consistently has offensive line problems. So beefing up if you're in that division on the pass rush seems like a good idea. You might be able to get to him. Now, can Zadarius Smith catch Lamar would be my next question. I don't know. And the Steelers have horrible offensive line, or did last year. They've tried to address it, but if those guys don't come out, I mean, it makes sense the move, first of all, because it costs nothing, but it's a division where you've got some bad offensive lines and you got to try to contain Lamar. So, yeah, let's go for it. So I don't think it moves them up much for me, but their defense certainly got better. But Zadarius Smith ain't winning them 2 games.
Isn't he, though? What if his presence there is enough to take some pressure off of Myles Garrett?
Now, that would be the argument, right? Yeah. If Myles Garrett goes from
16
sacks. I mean, Myles Garrett's been incredible. Back-to-back years with 16 sacks. If he goes to
I know, right?
19.
It's insane.
If he goes to 19 and Zadarius Smith still has double digits. Now, if you're talking about like 19 and 12, 19 and 11, then yeah, it's a win. It's a big, big win. But maybe it's a game. Maybe it is worth a game. I'll give that to you.
And in the AFC, that could mean everything, the way that the AFC is
That's a great point. That is a good point. So maybe a game. You've convinced me into it. If it makes Myles Garrett that much better, he's still got to perform. But, I mean, the track record says that he will do that. Nathan Dean says a big potential test in that game for Anton. Yeah, it don't matter which tackle. You're going to have a problem that day.
Amen.
Walker Little, Cam Robinson, if you're in there, Anton Harrison, whoever's playing, good luck. Because it ain't going to be easy on either side. It really is not.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so that's one thing that didn't happen for the Jags. They do sign Jacob Harris. Matt Ryan's going to CBS.
Good for him.
You think he's actually done?
Yeah, he should be. You should just go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and just say, hey, next time I get on the field, I'm going to be doing the game. Or coaching. I'll coach.
See, we did this earlier, and I think there's a 100% chance Matt Ryan's on somebody's roster this year. 100%.
Interesting.
I mean, it didn't end well, but Indy sucked. Like, Indy was not good. He completed 67%. He threw for 3,000 yards in 12 games.
I understand.
Like, he can't move. We all know that. You know what you're getting into.
If he wants to play, you're talking about as a backup, though. I don't think that he wants to go back into the league as a backup.
Yes, I do. But I also would say that as it currently stands, right, you know who your quarterbacks are, you know who your backups are. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's quarterback will get hurt. Training camp, early in the season. It happens every year in the NFL, right? Knock on wood, I don't want you to get hurt. But somebody's going to get hurt. So now, instead of the call being to Phillip Rivers or to Andrew Luck, the call's to Matt Ryan, right? He's the most recently retired guy. And if I'm looking at this and I have an offensive line that doesn't suck, like if Brock Purdy comes back, he's not it. Trey Lance, whatever, Sam Darnold ain't working. Like if I got an offensive line that can protect somebody, I'm going for the guy that threw for 3,000 yards in 12 games.
All right.
Now, if I'm a bad offensive line, if Joe Burrow were to get hurt and I'm Cincinnati, I'm like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't going to work. But also, what other options do you have? So maybe I am calling. But I don't think he said in his statement, in his tweet, that this is not retirement for Matt Ryan. I think he's on somebody's roster before the end of the season. 100%. Brent Martineau put it at 2%. Do you have a percentage point?
Yeah, it feels a little high, 2%. But when you put it this way, if he's going on there just to be, hey, we got to have a warm body at quarterback because our starter got hurt and our backup is now the starter, can you come in and just, piece together the playbook enough? You don't think you're going to see the field, but, we need you just because. Then, yeah, I'll lean towards, the 1 to 2%. But if you're talking about starter, like, no, 0%. I don't care who gets injured. They're not going to go to Matt Ryan and say, hey, listen, we need you to lead our team for this season right here.
Tua gets hurt. Are you calling Matt Ryan over Mike White?
I don't think I'm calling him over Mike White. Yeah, you can call me wild all you want. Mike White?
8 games in the career of Mike White.
Yeah.
62% completion. 8-12. Matt Ryan completed 67% for 3,000 yards in 12 games in front of behind an awful offensive line.
Yeah,
You're not calling?
No, I'm not calling him not to start again. In that scenario, too, especially if he's getting injured again and it's anything dealing with the head, then, of course, we need to start looking at some more quarterbacks just to have enough to go into a game. Yeah, call him for that. But if he think he's coming in here and he's going to be, hey, man, you're vying for QB1, nah, bro. A lot of things got to happen for that to happen. We just want you on the field just in case something happens to whoever we're going to actually have at QB1. But, hey, listen, I've been wrong before. I just, he's not – it can't just be that the offensive line sucks. Like, the offensive line has to be good because Matt Ryan ain't moving. Like, even when there's pressure, he's not moving. It's going to be a sack. And that's not really the NFL that we stay in, even with the guys that we may deem more of a pocket-type passer. Being able to move just a bit, like, that's a part of the repertoire now. Just for the average QB. I'm not talking about Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes or, one of these other guys like a Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Jared Goff can at least, I'm going to get a little bit out the way, and Jared Goff is not a runner in any sense of the word. So that's why I think that, yeah, it probably is it. And if it is, Kasey, he's had an immaculate career, an MVP, should have had a Super Bowl, but at least is taking the team to the Super Bowl. Yep. He's going to be a Hall of Famer eventually, eventually. I think he is. So, he's done a lot in this league that many can say that they haven't. So, it's been a good career. But if he says it's not retirement, then, yes, somebody eventually is going to call about some opportunity. Make sure it's a good fit. Make sure it's not I don't know who has a terrible offensive line right now, but make sure it's not Arizona or something. I don't know.
Right. Or like the Rams, something like that.
Jeez.
What a mess. Let's take a break. Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton. ESPN 690. When we come back, what now for the 76ers after that disaster? What now for the Oilers after that disaster? A lot of what now questions that we will answer on the other side. Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton. We're back after this.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy tonight. Temperatures dropping into the mid to upper 60s by morning. Tomorrow will be partly sunny, very warm, quite humid. A few afternoon storms develop with a high of 88. For the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Proud to offer a huge selection of both lab-grown and natural diamonds at the lowest prices, guaranteed.
Got my beach towel? Check. My beach chair? Check. And I'm in luck because the Summer Starts Here sales event is going on now at Arlington Toyota. Now's the time to get hot deals on even hotter Toyotas. Even better, Arlington's got over 300 new Toyotas available. And with every new Toyota purchase at Arlington, you get Arlington's lifetime warranty. That's unlimited time and miles. I think this is going to be your best summer yet. Shop the Summer Starts Here sales event at Arlington Toyota today. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. With over 2 million phone calls last year alone, more people in more cities across America want more Morgan & Morgan. When you hire Morgan & Morgan, you're also hiring a family business. And after 35 years, we now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world, protecting America, fighting for you. Injured? Call Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinsky. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8214. 904-664-8214. That's 904-664-8214.
See you, Dad. Bye, honey.
Have fun today, you guys. My back pain has left me feeling isolated. After years of physical therapy, chiropractors, and acupuncture, my pain needed a permanent solution. Finally, I found Integrity Spine and Orthopedics in Jacksonville. Their top-rated doctors listen to you, and they even create your own personalized plan. Now, I don't have to miss out on life with my family. Hey, guys, wait up!
Integrity, where you matter most. Schedule your appointment today at integritymattersmost.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Divorce forces a father to focus on what's most important, his children. In the divorce process, this comes down to three key concerns: physical custody, decision-making, as well as financial support. Each of these is important, and it's important that you choose a lawyer that cares as much about these issues as you do.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Jacksonville area attorneys. Offices in Jacksonville and by appointment only in Ponte Vedra Beach. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates, it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Mama, what does the chicken say? Dog. Cat. Giraffe.
Giraffe, really? Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the
right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Brent Mortno from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton, ESPN 690 on a Monday. I like this music bed, Brian. I know I've told you that before. It's a good one. We take you up until 7 o'clock. No gate fees after that. Brent Martineau will be back in the building talking high school baseball and softball playoffs. Arm care as well, which will be fascinating if you are a baseball fan. You're like, why are people getting Tommy John surgery at 21? Well, it's because they're throwing curveballs at 12. And we'll talk to Josh Rudd about that. And it should be an intriguing conversation, even if you don't have a kid playing softball or baseball in general or in the high school ranks. But until that time, we continue on with the show. Chase Bunker from WOKV has joined us. And I have some questions. Now what for the 76ers after what can only be described as an absolutely embarrassing out of the playoffs in the position they were in? Or the Phoenix Suns, who traded for Kevin Durant and lost to the Denver Nuggets in 6 and lost by like 40.
Oof.
That was awful.
It's ugly. Terrible.
What about for the Edmonton Oilers, who for the 4th straight year with the number 2 seed in the West have the best player on the planet and can't win?
The Sixers of hockey.
The Sixers of hockey. And also, what do the Memphis Grizzlies do now? Not only do they have an early exit in the playoffs, they've got a John Morant problem.
Keep them holstered. Wow.
So we're going to answer those questions. Everybody was assigned a specific team. Brian Middleton got 2 teams.
Problem. Yeah.
We will do that in a minute. But the Philadelphia 76ers, if you're unaware of the situation, they have Joel Embiid, who finally won an MVP.
Mm-hmm.
They go to Game 7 with the Boston Celtics, which they had no business being in. What was that series? Was that 3-1 or was it 3-2?
3-2. 3-2.
And they get absolutely and utterly demolished in a Game 7 where it looked like they had no business even being on the same floor as Boston.
Doc Rivers strikes again.
Doc Rivers strikes again.
Such a lazy take. Well, that's such a lazy take, Chase. I like you. That's so lazy. It's so easy. People are going to clap about that. They're going to pat you on the back and give you likes on Twitter if you post that. That SOG cost me a 3-1 series and back when he was coaching for the Magic. Yeah. I can get away with that. Nah, see, and there you go. See? I can get away with that. It's not compartmentalized right there. That's what we get into the brass tacks and everything. Anyway, Kasey,
so
please continue.
I want you to do what's not easy then, Brian Middleton.
Yeah.
I want you to fix it. Yeah. I want you to tell us, the listener, me specifically, and Chase, he's here, I guess, but the listener, what to do, what should the 76ers do? How can you fix them, Brian Middleton?
Well, you got to let Doc Rivers go.
You do.
You got to. But let me camp right there for a second. We got 21 minutes. Let me camp right here for a second. I sit down with Doc as the owner of the 76ers.
Who is now the owner of the Commanders, by the way.
And maybe the Commies. Yeah, I saw that. Wow. And maybe.
And the Devils. Rich dude. Sorry, go on.
He's got a lot going on right there.
Like
Jeff Bezos' cousin or something? Yeah. You sit down with him and you say, hey, listen, Doc, I got to let you go. But it's not because of this Game 7 loss. It's not because you were up 3-2 and Boston came back and won and they showed up and played above their heads, even for Boston standards, in Game 7. It's because of the culmination, the entirety of the narrative that you can't get a Game 7 win. And if I send you back out there, if the team is constructed as is, or mostly as is, you're going to be a lame duck. And I know you got tough skin, Doc, but I'm not going to do that to you. There are other opportunities out there. I think you're a heck of a coach. You don't get to this level and have his success. I don't care the amount of good players that he's had. He's had success, and these players have had success under him to a certain degree. You have won the NBA championship. Granted, it was, a decade and a half ago, but you have an NBA championship, and how many people can say that? But I got to let you go. Now, as soon as I do that, I get on the phone with one guy. His name is Monty Williams. And let me tell you why. What was Monty Williams' biggest issue in Phoenix? It wasn't the way that he was coaching most of the team. It wasn't the way that he coached the biggest star on his team or 1A when you add KD to the mix, and I'm talking about Devin Booker or even CP3. It was the big man. It was DeAndre Ayton. For whatever reason, there was friction there. And for whatever reason, it didn't work out. And DeAndre Ayton, that's Chase's team, so I'll let him, go in on him. But bigger reason why Monty Williams isn't there right now, in my opinion. So if you can say, hey, Monty, we got a player here who's a big man, and I don't know how that integrates in your whole offensive scheme, but you can come here, and he is the supposed MVP, and he's going to at least be more coachable than the big man that you had. And I don't know about James Harden and all this stuff, but we got a Tyrese Maxey here, and you can implement the things that you were trying to implement in Phoenix and which you had success in as well up here in Philly. And I think that that's a piece of your championship run. The next thing I do, I try to get rid of James Harden. I get it. He's going to pick up this player option. I understand that's going to be a thing. You figure out how to do it, what that looks like. What can you get from him? Who would want James Harden at this point in his career? He did a lot of damage to, I think, his whatever you want to call trade value with this performance once again in a big game. But James Harden also showed you that I can throw up 40-plus points in a game. I can change my game throughout this season, and since he's been in Philly, as we knew he was a good passer, but he continued to be a pretty good passer for most of this season. And you try to get up off of him. Now, what does that look like? Again, depends on the team that you're dealing with. You do one more thing, though, guys. You do one more thing, in my opinion. You get on the phone with Josiah. You already made a deal with him before, getting rid of Ben Simmons. And you say, hey, we got it wrong back in 2018. We picked up a guy, Mikal Bridges, traded him in the draft. We want him back. What do we do to get him back on this squad? Because I believe that if you have a Tyrese Maxey, you got a Mikal Bridges, and you pair that up with a Joel Embiid, who I don't know if he's big time in the big moments, but watching Mikal Bridges kind of bud into a star, I wouldn't call him a star at all yet, but he's in Brooklyn, just watching his game there. I got to be real with you. I think that him in a lineup with those other two guys, and then, you kind of factor in Tobias Harris and whomever else that you piece on the court with those guys, I think that that's a recipe to getting to the Eastern Conference Finals and having a real chance against, I guess it would be a Miami Heat this season, but a Boston Celtics team, a Giannis-led Bucks team, whoever you may meet in the Eastern Conference Finals to get a chance to go to the NBA Finals. Those are the 4 moves I would do right there.
I like it. It's concise. Mm-hmm. Most of it makes sense.
Yep.
What do you do about Tobias Harris, who's making $40 million? You just let him make $40 million?
You got to eat that. Look, Tobias Harris, he's not terrible. In the NBA as constructed, Tobias Harris is probably worth that money right there. That's what you would pay a guy who is at his talent level and playing at the level that he is. In some kind of, determination, you could see whether or not you want to try to restructure or, get up off of that. But Tobias Harris to me isn't this albatross around your neck, isn't dragging the team down. But if you think that you can figure something else out cap-wise, if something else works trade-wise or something like that, by all means, go ahead and do it. But that's not top of list at all. That's not top 1 through 5. What do we do with Tobias Harris, in my opinion?
Interesting. Okay. I'm not mad at it. I like the answers. Chase?
First off, I'm just thinking, a lot of Sixers fans will disagree with you on Tobias Harris. They want him gone, and they might try to use that contract to get Damian Lillard. So, the Phoenix Suns. Do you know how many people are going to be on without going into free agency? Do you know how many players are going to be on the Phoenix Suns just under contract?
3.
7. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, Campaign, and Ishmael Wainwright. Ishmael Wainwright is going to be under contract still. So first off, you got to fill a team somehow. Secondly, if I'm James Jones, I'm updating my profile on LinkedIn because here's the thing. Matt Ishbia has just come in, and first off, what did he do? First thing he does, He orchestrates the Kevin Durant trade, guts their entire depth, which, by the way, who would have thought greatly affected their playoff performance this year. So, also, what does he do? He fires Monty Williams. So, if I'm already having an owner that's already just swinging himself around and making all these choices behind my back, I'm looking for possibly, hey, if Daryl Morey gets canned, I'm going to go over there. If any other high-profile GM positions open up, yeah, I'm going over there because I don't trust my job security. 3, you got to look for a good coach. So who's the best coach right now? It's probably Monty Williams. Oh, wait, you can't get him. You just fired him. So you try to make a move at Nick Nurse. Now you have to compete with Milwaukee, who has Giannis. So you got to try to incentivize that deal. So you have to incentivize who do you want to hitch your wagon to, Giannis or Devin Booker and the champion nomad Kevin Durant. So that's going to be it's going to be tough. It's like, would you rather spend your day in Milwaukee or spend your day in Phoenix? The big thing now is you need Devin Booker and you need Kevin Durant to just start luring people over. I have a feeling cap is not going to be an issue here, just because of the fact that we've seen a guy who's willing to make a move to get Kevin Durant. He's going to spend money. He's willing to go over the luxury tax and does not care how much he spends. Part of me wants to go with the take that he's going to bring in Russell Westbrook and James Harden because bleep it.
That would be bad.
It would be bad, but I wouldn't be surprised because now James Harden is being linked to possibly going to Phoenix. But now I'm looking at this and it's like, you need to get depth. And I don't know how much depth you're willing to buy. Do you try to also, because you already have an issue with DeAndre Ayton, and it's looking like you want out of DeAndre Ayton already. Well, too bad, so sad. Maybe you bring in, hopefully if you're lucky, Nikola Vucevic or something, and just if you're willing to spend money because you just do not trust him and try to trade. Or, speaking of trade, do you bring in Damian Lillard? Do you try to move Chris Paul in that deal? Because, again, Chris Paul's going to be 39. How much more do you trust his body? You got to think about what you're going to do with there. You got to add pieces, and you need to just get depth, period. There's no one person that's going to solve all this. You have to do a multitude of things. And unfortunately, Matt Ishbia has just is the result of all of those problems.
So you have to get off of Chris Paul.
But how is the question. Chris Paul next year is going to be making $30,000, which is partially guaranteed.
$30 million.
$30 million, excuse me.
I'm about to say,
30,000
that's
is
it?
what he
$30,000.
that's cool.
He ain't worth nothing.
Yeah.
So you get off of him because he'll go to the Lakers.
Yes.
He'll go with LeBron when they get rid of D'Angelo Russell.
Yes. Who's a free agent this season.
The question is, you can get rid of Chris Paul. That's not a problem. Somebody will take him. The question is, how do you get rid of DeAndre Ayton?
That's the main problem.
That one will be a little tougher.
You have to somehow incentivize that. If you are trading for Damian Lillard, you use that to make the money match up. But you're going to have to throw in a lot of picks, which, by the way, they have a first-round draft pick in 2024 and in 2026. And then after that, it's all Brooklyn. Now, those are first-rounders. No one cares about second-rounders.
Nobody cares about second-rounders. You're right. Yeah, it's bad. So you're suggesting get depth, not stars.
Get depth, not stars. Because that's what hurts you the most. Booker will get you points. Durant will get you points. Maybe get like somebody else that's a good number 3 guy, because clearly it's not going to be Ayton. Campaign ultimately failed this year. I don't know who your third's going to be. Maybe like you can lure D'Angelo Russell if he doesn't get re-signed. Maybe you can try to get Fred VanVleet, even though he's probably going to want some money.
And that's a
Gary
good
Trent Jr.
Yeah.
I like Gary Trent Jr., by the way.
Yeah.
Do you agree with his analysis, Brian Middleton?
No, I'm saying that was a good point, especially when you start talking about, he named some of those points. You know, one of the bigger issues in their series that you would see is there was a lot of ISO happening.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, when you got Dylan Brooks and KD, you feel good about that. Chase, I'm not trying to take your time.
Devin Booker.
But I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah, ain't no one covering Dylan Brooks' offense. You might as well call him
Dylan Brooks. I said Dylan Brooks.
Ain't no one covering Dylan Brooks. You might as well call him the pre-existing condition because no one's going to cover him.
Wow. We're working on that. That's a bar. But yeah, I agree with you. You know, getting one of these more made point guards in here to be able to set up an offense when things are kind of bogged down or things aren't working for your team offensively, I think it's vital for them. So I agree with Chase on that.
Interesting. Because to me, it just, and this is going to be unpopular, you try to get off of Kevin Durant. I know you just gave up all the picks for him. You're not winning with Kevin Durant. I don't know how many times it has to be proven. You're not winning with Kevin Durant.
Yeah, they're going to flip some tables over if they do that.
Man, yeah. I mean, when you trade all that.
I'm here for it, but oof.
You got 1 year left of Booker. That's more important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get that done on the backside, and you can't really do that when you're paying Kevin Durant $47 million, 26% of your cap.
And we know that he is going to miss at least 15 games.
Right.
a
So
year.
they shouldn't have traded for Kevin Durant. But if I'm them, I'm trying to get off of Kevin Durant.
But who would take
6 months later?
What you thinking that in the? My main focus has been the Damian Lillard because it seems like he's going to be the one that's going to be the next All-Star that's getting moved. Do you use that, or you think of somebody else that's getting moved instead?
Oh, I get rid of Kevin Durant and then just you don't have to get a star back. Like I know the contract thing will be tough, but like just get off of him, recoup your picks, and make moves from there with the cap space you have available. You don't have to chase star for star. You have a star, and you have extremely serviceable players in free agency that you can sign.
It's like the documentary on the Cowboys when they got really good at the late 80s and they had Herschel Walker and they traded the Vikings for like a boatload of picks, and those picks turned into like Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin, I think like Larry Allen, and they just drafted like Troy Aikman. So same idea here. I'm assuming Kasey, like get off of KD, recoup some value, some depth, some picks, and make it happen way.
Yeah, that's the goal. But if I'm looking at $47 million in cap that KD's taken, and I know I'm not winning with KD, I'm looking at Gary Trent. To your point, I'm looking at Vucevic because I don't think you're getting off of DeAndre Ayton, even though you desperately want to. And if you can get off of Chris Paul, you're looking at $77 million in cap that you have. So then at that point, you can just go crazy. You don't have to chase star for star. You have the star. You need the role players. You need the depth players. And I know it won't happen, but if I'm in Phoenix, I'm like, all right, we made a bad move. We don't have to compound the bad move. We don't have to sit on Kevin Durant for the next however long his contract is, 3 years, where he's getting paid ridiculous amounts of money. We can just move off of him.
Yeah, but
somebody will take him.
I mean, but the thing is, like, Matt Ishbia he's already making that move. Like, he made that move for a reason, and he's not going to give up now.
Right.
Also, somebody that we need to think about is Kyrie Irving as well.
No.
Do you think Kyrie Irving stays in Dallas?
Well, no.
But he ain't going to Phoenix.
Nah.
They do need someone to handle the ball, but it's not him.
We've seen that not work. And who's going to be the coach?
We don't know.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Right now, everyone just thinks Nick Nurse because Nick Nurse is the other hot commodity that's not Williams.
If I'm Nick Nurse, I ain't signing up for that. If they tell me in the meeting, hey, listen, they pay me like $50 million a year or whatever coaches are getting. They're like, we're going to pick up Kyrie. I'm going to be like, all right, man. But that's how I'm going to say it if I'm him. No one wants to see that. No one wants to see that again. KD and Kyrie running the team.
Yeah, and just go get James Harden and be the Nets that didn't work.
Yeah.
You know? Let me give you this one real quick. I know people don't care about it. It's the Edmonton Oilers, and I'll try to make you understand why it sucks or why it's bad in Edmonton. One, it's Edmonton. It's cold all the time.
Yep.
But you have two of the best 4 players in the league and also two of the 3 best players in your organization's history. With an organization that has the best player that's ever played, you might have the second best player that's ever played. They got 1 pick in the first 4 rounds of the draft. That's not good. Their goaltending is truly awful. Would they be better with Brian Middleton? 4 straight years of the number 2 seed, and they have not won anything.
Nope.
They only have 3 years left of Connor McDavid, or less if he asked out. So this is, I don't even know how to put it into football terms. Who's great but never wins?
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Nope.
Phillip Rivers.
I'm certainly not comparing Connor McDavid to Phillip Rivers. It'd be like if Patrick Mahomes couldn't win.
I mean, LaDainian Tomlinson at his time was literally like the best running back ever.
Yeah, but a running back doesn't win or lose you a Super Bowl. The quarterback does.
Was it more like LeBron when he had lost in 2007, then he lost in 2011 to Dallas?
Yes, good call.
Wow. That's how
this
this
is
guy
the best player in the league by far. It's not close.
Is it him or is it the team? Like, is he just not showing up?
Okay, so it's the team. It's the team because they were a good offensive team. However, they were a good offensive team on the power play. Like 42% of their offense was power play goals. 5-on-5, they worked great, and they happened to go up against the least penalized team in the league, and that's what ultimately bit them in the butt.
So it's a disaster.
Failure as always.
Here's what you do. You get rid of Jack Campbell, who sucks. Jack Campbell's their goalie. They signed him to a 5-year deal for 7% or so of their cap. Keep in mind, this is the NHL. Money's not crazy. So you're in a very bad situation with Jack Campbell, who was 49th this year in goals allowed, average 3.14 a game. That's truly awful.
Bad.
But it didn't matter because you were scoring 6 a night in the regular season. He had like 21 wins and like 9 losses, I think. So, like, it looks like he was good. He's garbage. His save percentage was 87th in the league.
Oof.
It's really, really bad.
That is bad.
So you get rid of Jack Campbell, whatever it takes. You have to eat money. You don't, I mean, the NHL's weird. You can find trade partners for almost anybody. You get rid of them, whatever it takes. But the reason the Lightning won 2 Stanley Cups, and I stand on this besides the goaltending, was they had dudes that had no interest in scoring the puck. They had forwards that were willing to dump and chase. They had forwards that were willing to hit people, and they had scrappy players. Everybody on the Oilers wants to score. That's what all their forwards do, and that's not the right answer.
Nope.
You have the best scorer on the planet.
Yep.
You let him score.
That dude.
You let Draisaitl do the rest. Nugent Hopkins, okay, he's been on your team for 84 years, cool. You go into free agency, and when you interview players, you ask, do you want to score goals? And when they say yes, you leave the room. And you go to find somebody else. Hey, do you have interest in scoring goals? Oh, you don't? Do you hit people? Okay. Now we're interested.
You just want Pat Maroon, essentially. You just want everybody else, just all Pat Maroons.
More or less, that's what they need. They're not a physical team. Their defensemen want to score, their forwards want to score, and their goaltending sucks.
To be fair, the Lightning also won because their defensemen could also score. Like Andre Palat could score, and his presence was greatly missed during this postseason.
Palat was a forward,
or you know what I mean, but yeah.
But he was physical and he was scrappy, and that's what they need. There's guys available. Miles Wood, I think, is a guy from the Devils. He's a forward. 100 hits. That's what you need. You need a guy that's like, I don't even want to shoot it. Just let me hit somebody.
I like to hit. Don't pass me the puck.
Let me be angry and defensive as an offensive.
This is my therapy. I take it out on the ice. I like it.
Alexander Kerfoot for Toronto's another guy I would sign for them. Toronto's a whole different mess, but another guy that doesn't want to score. So, Edmonton, it's as simple as this. You've got the goal scorers. Let them work. Get people that don't want to score and want to hit people and play forward. Get a fourth line. Look at Tampa and look what made them successful. Look at Colorado. Get a fourth line that doesn't want to score. Fill those guys in. Go play dump and chase hockey and hit somebody in the defensive zone. It's as simple as that.
How long do they have McDavid? How long do they have him?
They got him 3 more years if he doesn't ask out.
By the way, Colorado also they can score with anybody. It's not just 2 people.
3 more years.
They
How
have
old
a
is
lot
he?
of people.
How old is he?
27, I think.
Oh,
you're wasting it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Quickly on the Memphis Grizzlies, Brian Middleton.
You sit jaw down and you say, hey, listen, we're sitting you down for 50 games. I don't know what the NBA is going to do.
No.
I'm here in half a season as well.
Yeah, we sit you down for 50 games. This is from Memphis right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
This isn't like him pulling something out, like being crazy. Like, no, this is being murmured right now is that you're looking at half a season.
No, I know it is. But
okay.
I'm saying
How do you
not
fix it?
as the team.
Yeah.
You absolutely don't do that.
Yeah.
But go on.
I definitely do it. I say, hey, listen, we're going to announce that it's not with pay, but we're going to back channel it. We're going to back channel it. We got to make it look good, but we're going to sit you out for 50 games. You pick up some veteran leadership that can actually play. Maybe Van Fleet. I mean, I know Jaw's a point guard, but he's a scoring guard too. He can play off the ball. Those are the 2 things. Like this team is good. We've seen that they were the number 2 seed, but they need maturity there that I don't think Jaw can bring. Even if he comes back with a different mindset right now, they got Steven Adams. I think they got some other guys there that are just mature naturally. But you need another guy who is mature, and I think that the guys will listen to. Maybe that'd be someone like a Van Fleet or not a CP3 or anything like that. But those are the 2 things I definitely would do with Jaw, just to wrap it up quickly.
As a mature person, do you try to bring in Derrick Rose?
I thought maybe the thing that we get from like Van Fleet, I think would be more production. Like you actually got somebody that's not just mature. I mean, Derrick Rose is, he's there, he's doing some stuff, but I think Van Fleet, between the 2, I would want on my squad to actually, help try to get a chip as well as just be a leader.
You absolutely cannot sit Jaw like that. If the league does it, it's one thing. The Memphis Grizzlies cannot. But that will do it. For Chase Bunker and Brian Middleton, I'm Kasey Kuhrts. Have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
I want to eat a spicy chicken in my Tesla. Is it